Thanks, Rich. Yeah, well, the big news down here is that the money has come for Apache Cat, TAB number 2. The bookies bet 280 into 260. You can get even money, black figures. Plenty of it about Harada Sun. Look at the totes, though. 160, 190 New South Wales. That's the best of them, obviously. 160 Unitab. Even money here on course. Apache Cat Value Super Tab. 260 is bang on in New South Wales. And as you can be when you're worth 45 million is TAB1, Harada Sun. Bookies take him on, but look at him there. He's a bigger unit than when we last saw him when he won the Doncaster and then ran.
He knows this horse. Harada Sun's behind the line. And away and racing. Maybe better, a bit slow to begin from the inside gate. Appraiser began well, so did Minson. And Live in Vain is scooting up along the inside to be handy as well. They settle. Who is the pilot heading down the side? And she leads by a length and a half on Live in Vain going keenly. Minson strides up to be a closer second. Then Apache Cat in clear galloping room. On its back is Oliver with Harada Sun. Now he stakes out 3 wide. Back on the inside is Honor Lee, and 3 lengths last of all is Maybe Better. They work down towards the home corner. Apache Cat's now out. He's making his move on the outside of Minson. Appraiser still has the lead. 4 wide is Harada Sun. Honor Lee's trying to push out. Live in Vain's back on the inside in traffic. And Maybe Better is last. Here's the Apache. Apache Cat strikes the front. Still on his heels is Harada Sun. Harada Sun's not getting there yet as Apache goes for home. He got 2 lengths in front of Harada Sun, who switches back to the inside, but he's not going to get there. And Apache Cat, he won't be denied, and he is clear. Apache Cat, nice return. Bring on the spring. He wins by 2.5 on Harada Sun. Honor got 3rd from Appraiser, and then followed by Maybe Better. Next was Live in Vain, and Minson has finished last.
Absolutely dominant performance here by Apache Cat. Never going to get beaten. A comprehensive victory. Harada Sun always looked to be struggling. Had no answer.
$1.60, $1.40, $1.30 Harada Sun the place. No third dividend for Honolulu.
He began well and he just got there and travelled, and I got to the half mile and just giggling to myself. I couldn't believe how well he was going. He sort of more or less just pulled himself.
Ever gave his backers one moment's worry. He travelled the best throughout the race. Harada Sun, I read Tony Vassell in the press this morning saying that he wasn't disappointed. He thought the effort was terrific. He wasn't the one who made it the favourite. But, you know, he's more mature now. Maybe he's looking for that little bit further. Like, he won Doncaster over a mile. I noticed that Alan and Scanders also drifted him from $6 out to $8 in the Cox Plate. A lot of water to go under the bridge before the Cox Plate. We saw Marasco, most impressive yesterday in Melbourne. But look at Michael Rod. If he's not smiling, I'm giving it away. If he's not smiling around the turn, he was laughing, saying, oh, what about this? He said yesterday in the interview, no one was going to go past me from the furlong home. He's come back in sensational order. He did that last time in. Don't give up on Harada Sun. I'm certainly not throwing the barbs out. It's easy to throw the barbs out when
some of the papers call
his first ride. Look, this horse has got a wonderful first-up record. Last preparation at Caulfield over 1100. He won with 61 kilos on his back. Whereas Harada Sun, his 2 previous first-up wins were in 3-year-old set weight races, and this was his big acid test. And as I said at the top of the show, I don't think he's a first-up specialist. He needs 1400 plus, but this horse toyed with him late. Harada Sun couldn't match it with him in the straight. Was 2 lengths off him, laying in.
Stakes favourites, Fashions of Field from Posadas. More on that now.
Looking forward to the big one here, the Missile Stakes at Rosehill. Race number 7, and we've got a good field. It's dominated in the betting at the moment, Richard, by Fashions of Field and Passat.
Track La Montaña. 1470 is about 3 points of value, and already good money for number 11, Fashions of Field. 290 is spot on. $30 is a little bit of overs. Al Liam 17, La Montaña $13 is spot on. Fashions of Field 320, about a third of a point shorter than that on track.
Oh, No Wine No Song missed the start. Fashions of Field came out smartly as the early leader, taken on by Dance the Waves on the outside, and Devil Inside is starting to pull away forward. Posadas is right up there early with Sequelin Fuller. Out of the chute they come. And the leader is Dance the Waves just in front here from on the outside. Devil Inside. Posadas is out 3 wide. Fashions of Field is 4th on the rail. And then came our Liam Sequelin in the centre, followed by German Chocolate, and well back was Vianetto coming to the outside as they turn for home now, where Dance the Waves is joined by Devil Inside. Posadas a length away, and then Sequelin. Fashions of Field's got nowhere to go on the rail. Our Liam and Vianetto are coming down the outside. Devil Inside took the lead at the 200. The run's coming for Fashions of Field. Posadas, Vianetto, German Chocolate, 6 across the track here. German Chocolate burst through. Fashions of Field is on the rail, but German Chocolate will win the Missile. German Chocolate first, Photo for second and third, La Montana, Fashions a Field and Vianetto the centre, and then Posadas, Tarleton, Dance the Wave, Sir Covered, Devil Inside, Sequelin, No Wine, No Song, and Al Liam's last of all.
Well, to the dry track, and that's what he loves. He was awesome when he won at Canterbury after 14 months off the sideline. The numbers are now official, 8, 10 and 4. La Montana, what a return to racing for the Stradbroke winner of only 15 months ago, and third, 4 and 11. Just here, Rich, it was...
German Chocolate, 10.22.90 as we go upstairs to Mark Sheen.
And the winner, German Chocolate, who has won 3 times from 4...
Going onto the track there at Belmont for the running of the Newmarket. The race is now...
No, I think, you know, if you're having a bet today, this is where you probably wouldn't back him. You'd be backing him to win the Cox Plate. You're getting, I think, $10 or $11 on TAB Sports Bet. I'd be taking that today, thinking that he's going to put in a bottler here and...
1,200 metres, racing, and Real Mac bounced out in a hurry from the inside, and Marasco's gone straight back to second last with Vain Crusader. Behind him at the tail of the field is Mac at the 800 and held out is Amazing, who's going to have to sit up at his flanks and do the bullocking work. A length away, Banner Storm being ridden vigorously outside of Ripton Arctic Park is going up between them. Marasco back on the inside is held up coming to the turn, and Vain Crusader taking off for Turner is going to try and cover the field wider on the course. Coming around the bend though, and Real Mac is Amazing together, straightening up. They make the turn, locked together, 2 lengths Rip. Now Marasco's tracking right up on the inside when they come to the 300, and he's got plenty of room to come through as is Amazing. Grabs Real Mac, Marasco hugging the Dulux, bursting through quickly. Look at the Mighty M go under the 60 kilograms. Marasco put paid to is Amazing and Rip, and Marasco, well, if there were any doubts about him coming back, they've been dispelled quickly. He absolutely towed them up in the Newmarket under the big weight. Marasco stormed home on the rails to beat either Rip or is Amazing. In behind them, Vain Crusader, Arctic Park, Banner Storm.
Champ. For fourth there. There he is, Marasco. What a mighty effort first up. Let's head back to the boys in...
By Neville and Susan Duncan, Judith Kersley, trained by Fred Kersley, written by Paul Harvey. And he beats Rip by Second Empire from...
He did the rest, didn't he? It was a terrific
calendar. Oh, it was a good performance, but like, I think the run that he had and the favours that he got in the run, if he didn't do that, you would have been disappointed in him. Still a great effort. He looked, you can only see from afar, but he certainly looked big. A friend of mine who's a former tennis pro, James Sokoloff, who lives in Perth, who's been telling me for 18 months, he said, don't you worry about all your superstars. And he said, my fella over here, Marasco, is going to brain them all. And I tell you what, on that performance, no doubt he is, but, you know, we get burns on it in Carnival. Yeah, we look.
Yeah, he shouldn't really be able to do that. Isn't it great when you hear the crowd in the background and we know his belt, how much improvement is there for his next up effort?
Yeah, I don't like to go there when they go like that. I don't know if they can go any better, but I'm happy with what I got.
And at this point, it
goes well, and the Liston is the next target.
60 kilos, Marasco running.
Wow. No, that was very impressive because they got a little bit of a rest mid-stages there. I know Harvey got right up in the fence, but he had the weight. It was an unsuitable distance, and what a race this Liston's going to be so early in the season. I think Apache Cat will go there. I don't know if Arada Sun will go there. You've got this horse going there.
You've got to put it in perspective. The horses he beat
I understand.
are B-graders, and you can only do... I think that Fred Kersley poured a lot of cold water on the horse's chances prior to the race, saying he didn't think...
Well, that's why it was $3.30.
That's why it got out the 9.
And I think he was genuine.
Oh, yeah. This race a very even contest.
Yeah, thus far it's been heavily backed, hasn't it, Sliding Cube? Let's have a look at them from the top.
3-year-olds, the new season 3-year-olds going around for the first time, and all of these horses, they've trialled well. They've got the score on the board from racetrack performances.
Just set. Button, they're away. And Goldam began fast on the outside. I Am Invincible seemed to bound in the air and lost a little bit of ground, and now Sliding Cube has gone through to take the lead. It's Sliding Cube on the inside, Goldam, and I Am Invincible pulling its way in the centre up to third, followed by Wall. Well, they've got Goldam out very wide, and Sliding Cube has gone up on the rail to take the lead narrowly from I Am Invincible. Moonboat tracking up behind them from Hurry Choice. Goldam's off the track, losing ground, and then Shaft being pushed along, and Mimi LeBrock's trying to push out underneath it. It's Sliding Cube on the inside, just in front, got away from I Am Invincible. Moonboat was next, followed by further back Hurry Choice, then Mimi LeBrock and Shaft, but it's Sliding Cube in front inside the 200. The filly Moonboat is coming after it on the outside, clear of Mimi LeBrock and Hurry Choice. Sliding Cube's in front with 75 to go. It's in the lead. Mimi LeBrock is diving. Sliding Cube won the San Domenico. Sliding Cube held on to beat Mimi LeBrock. Not sure for third. We've got Moonboat and Hurry Choice on the inside from Shaft. and I'm Invincible has finished well back second last, and last in was Goldam.
What value now this filly? A three-quarter sister to Redute's Choice. She's now a Group 3 winner as well. Sliding Cube, not only winning the listed Keith Mackay, coming out today and beating the Colts home as well in the San Domenico Stakes. The Group 3, what a run. Mimi LeBrock, the Magic Millions winner, almost got there.
Yeah, Rich, it's the Ori Star. It's the big race here. They might have to switch the lights on here at Moonee Valley. Getting very dark here. Getting very dark if you're an El Segundo fan also, because he is absolutely friendless here on course. Punters have got this into Orange County and Monet Rules only.
A couple of weeks behind, a couple of gallops behind what he was when he ran in this race last year.
And well, Toast there, he's a popular horse. 440 Super Tab, 430 Unitab Short, New South Wales.
One of them was fractious in the gates. It might have been Jadusk, but Monet Rules has bounced out in front here from Dan Ever. Anikov has gone up third, followed by Orange County Casual. El Segundo, the fence, 5 lengths from the lead from Temple Hills, and 3 last of all, Blue Tigeroo, 600 out. Haven't gone hard. It's Monet Rules from Dan Ever. Judusk is out 3 deep. Orange County has to wait for the run back on the inside of Anikov. Out wider, any suggestion to El Segundo on the inside of Casual Pass. Temple Hills, and last of all, Blue Tigeroo. The leader, Monet Rules, coming to the turn from Dan Ever. Orange County still trying to get out. Then any suggestion, 2-3 further back than El Segundo. Monet Rules goes for home, 2 lengths in front. Orange County gets out, goes after him, but Monet Rules has got a big lead. He's 2 lengths in front of Orange County. Any suggestion, El Segundo. Monet Rules all the way in the Ori Star. Monet Rules 2.5, Orange County 2 away, third, a good one. El Segundo, 4th home in the race. Any suggestion, Casual Pass. Blue Tigeroo picked
For his faith in this all run, those placings. Well, Leon Corson's, Bruce, totally vindicated.
Congratulations, Leon. Peter Merton's aboard. It's by commands.
I reckon Colin Little went home last night with a big wry grin on his face saying, El Segundo, Blue Tigeroo, Spring Carnival, here we come.
Absolutely. And on that note, as we watch Monet Rules lead home Orange County and El Segundo, carrying the 62.5.
There, Nicanero, $6.10, Saspy, Tipung Wuti and Zupa One, which was scratched from Melbourne to run in this in Adelaide, and right down the bottom, Truly Beautiful at $4.70. Few handy horses in that race, but Zupa One at $3.80 is the favourite. That's about
doubled. So Zupa One is the big firmer. Now Truly Beautiful, they're ready for the spring stakes. They're off and racing now. And beginning nicely from near the inside was Nico Nero with Saspy, but going faster, El Mays, Miss Fantabulous. Zupa One straight up to third outside of Tonlin's, getting to the outside. Then Truly Beautiful, Ambica and Finistor. Around the home turn in the spring stakes. And the leader is El Mays, about a neck in front. Miss Fantabulous on the outside. 3 out now, Amy J. Power. Put Zupa One wider. Saspy's running on well behind them. Nico Nero coming to the outside, but at the 250, and Zupa One let down with a sharp sprint. It raced up to join El Mays in the lead and go to the clear lead now. It's Zupa One from El Mays, then Amy J. Power, but here comes a promising spring start for Zupa One. It raced away, won by 3 lengths. Amy J. Power second. El Mays held on for third, I'd say, just over Saspy. Nico Nero, look at the closers out wide. Truly Beautiful, Molotov and Finistor first up for 2 years, found the line well. Then Miss Fantabulous, Nico Nero was with them. Tipung Woody never came on. Tonlin's had problems, this stallion. He, of course, has had the stem cell therapy on one of his knees, and that followed his win at Sandown back in January this year. Slashing now.
Yeah, young Nicholas Ryan aboard Zupa One. Just listening there to John Simons suggests that he was comparing Zupa One with his great galloper Bel Esprit.
Maybe he's entitled to. I thought that was a sensational win. Now, he did carry level weights, 58.5, and it wasn't a team of walkovers. There were some nice horses in this race, and I'm looking for a run behind, but I couldn't find one. And this horse has just raced away. He was going stronger than the stayers at the finish there. A dominant performance and a real force in the spring, to my eye, a real force.
Bit of an eye-opener, that run. It was, I think...
Was it too good to be true?
Yeah, I underestimated the horse. It sat off the pace. I think you had to be slightly off the fence.
For that, Shane, this is the feature race. It is the Group 2 Premier Stakes, and I can tell you the favourite there is Mentality. We'll have a look at him on the screen shortly, but he is a clear favourite on the tote and on course. He's a dual Group 1 winner, of course. He won the Champagne Stakes as a 2-year-old and then won the Randwick Guineas as a 3-year-old. Also, there is Mentality, the market mover. We're 2 minutes away from start time, and the money continuing to come for him.
racing now. Newport missed the start, and Camarilla seemed to stumble coming out of the stalls, and she's gone back to second last, and Fashions of Field took up the running. She's in the lead from Gina Lola Witcher on the outside second, and German Chocolate lobbing into the box seat. Solo Flyer was next, and Mental on heels there and throwing the head as they slow up mid-race. And the leader, Fashions of Field, slowing them right down. Led narrowly from Gina Lola Witcher on the outside. German Chocolate is behind them. On the outside is Solo Flyer. Mentality has worked over onto the rail now. Utson's come up on the outside to put it in the pocket, followed by Camarilla. And last of all is the Brisbane Cup winner, Newport, turning for home. And the leader is Fashions of Field, and she tried to pinch a break. Led by about a length and a half off German Chocolate, coming off the rail. Then Solo Flyer. Mentality still giving away a big start. Fashions of Field in front, but German Chocolate and Solo Flyer are coming at it. The German's put his head in front. German Chocolate is in front from Solo Flyer, and he makes it back-to-back. Weight for age wins German Chocolate. Held off Solo Flyer and Fashions of Field, and then Mentality and Camarilla, followed by Utson, Gina Lola Witcher, and last in was Newport.
Well, we can't question the Missile Stakes form now. German Chocolate too strong again. His best pal, he's coming back to scale. He's out of a Rory's Chester mare and the third down. So he's been ridden a treat by Zach Burton here today. There are the interim dividends, $4.90, $1.
Below Flyer and Fashions of Field. Couple of good runs there. Maybe a Mentality obviously was...
This is the Group 3 Run to the Rose for the 3-year-olds. Some of them heading on towards the Golden Rose here in a fortnight, the $1 million race for the 3-year-olds. We're about 12 minutes away from start time. The favourite is number 8, El Cambio, and it's
Listen Grove at $12.80 is spot on. El Cambio is your red hot favourite, $4.10, a half point shorter. Turfontaine $7.80, 3 points shorter on track.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Yeah, El Cambio favourite. TAB Sportsbet bet $7.50 at the start of betting on Thursday. Pleasure Time and Fidel are the first couple up with Beyonce Star. Racing now. Pleasure Time was fairly out of the stalls. Rapid Jacko flew out of the gates, and Ruilla sends him clear on settling down. El Cambio is rushing up to second from Cent Percent, and Royal Discretion from his wide alley starting to make ground into third, and Pleasure Time is going up on the inside. Turf 800 to go, and it's Rapid Jacko on the inside, taken on now by Royal Discretion. Pleasure Time is third, and El Cambio fourth, one off the rail. And then came Cent Percent, followed by Turfontaine, 2 lengths to Grand Dancer on the outside of Beyonce Star. They're spotting the leaders about 6 lengths, and further back was Triple Honour, and then Lesson Grove, Vecchia Roma, and Fidel's gone back to a clear last. It's Rapid Jacko on the inside, just in front of Royal Discretion. El Cambio easing around their heels. Pleasure Time was next, and then Turfontaine and Cent Percent. Rapid Jacko set along at the 300 lead. El Cambio is going after it, but Rapid Jacko is going well inside the 200. El Cambio gets to his quarters, is starting to wear it down. Rapid Jacko's running off the track. He bumped with El Cambio. They bumped again. There's nothing in as they come to the line. El Cambio got there right on the post and edged out Rapid Jacko. Probably would have won on protest anyway. Turfontaine third, and then we've got Triple Honour followed by Vecchia Roma, Cent Percent and Grand Dancer. Further back behind them next Pleasure Time, and then Fidel, Beyonce Star, Royal Discretion, and Lesson Grove is back at the rear of the field.
Well, it's probably a good thing. It looks as if El Cambio's got over the line, because they're certainly, and fortunately for us that he did get over the line first, because for sure they would.
The stewards questioned Jay Ford and the trainer Chris Waller in relation to why the horse settled so far back. Jay said he just wanted to sit him behind, then he thought he might have get...
The horse did run El Cambio off the track, but El Cambio got the result anyway. So promising horse there. Rapid Jacko was still a good run, and I thought the third horse, Turfontaine, didn't do himself any harm and will be a chance in that Golden Rose if it goes there.
I thought there was one getting through on the inside to about 5th position, Triple Honour.
Triple Honour, yeah. If it got a bit more room, it would have finished a fair bit closer. It just got room the last little bit and sort of started to zip home.
Wouldn't discard it.
No, certainly Rapid. Here is the market as it stands now on Super Tab for the Vane Stakes. Murthergill short on all the totes now. Much of the action was yesterday here with this horse. They were betting $3, $2.90 and $3 in Darwin. Sportsbet bet $2.80 to $2.60. It's went up $2 here on course. I think punters have had a look at him as well and say, look, he's very forward for this.
Well, they had their set, they're racing. Murder Jill jumped fairly. Shrewd Rhythm one of the first out with Zazoo. Zazoo, Shrewd Rhythm and pushing up on the inside, Green Man Keeney going through. Murder Jill is just off though. From the outside, Zazoo with a great turn of foot has come over to lead out. Now unsettling from pushing up in the centre, Tis Folly. They're followed further out on the track by the outside, Murder Jill now out 3 deep. Green Man Keeney fourth from marching, Morgan Dollar, Shrewd Rhythm, Diplomatic Force and Perilous last of all. Up to the turn, Zazoo in front of Tis Folly. On the outside then came, moving forward, Murder Jill 3 out. 4 out is Morgan Dollar from marching, Shrewd Rhythm held up. Green Man Keeney followed by Diplomatic Force and Perilous. The outside, Murder Jill going up to Zazoo. Morgan Dollar further out. Shrewd Rhythm can't get a crack at them. Murder Jill, it's tight, got its head in front. Shrewd Rhythm gets out, grabs the lead from Morgan Dollar. Perilous starting to fly with Diplomatic Force. Shrewd Rhythm in front. Shrewd Rhythm a half-length, Perilous, third Diplomatic Force. Then Murder Jill in company with Morgan Dollar. There's some hard luck tails coming out of this. They ran over the top of Zazoo, then came marching, a gap to Green Man Keeney.
He's right.
That's what he is, a bit of a street fighter, this horse.
It's a good sign, isn't it? He can ride the speed, he can come from back, he can barge between horses.
Oh, exactly.
A couple of pretty good runs there. I didn't think Murder Jill's run was a bad run. He got stuck out 3 deep. I know there's only one turn in that course, but it's very hard to sit 3 deep outside the lead and battle on. And first up, he's probably just, he felt it over the last 50, 100 metres. I didn't think it was so bad. Diplomatic Force, very good.
I thought it was a terrific run.
Terrific. If it had got out earlier, he probably would have run second. Perilist, promising run there too. Ziz of 2-year-olds was dominant. I think every Group 1 was won by a different 2-year-old. And there's been a couple of disappointments just first up. So I think there's a question mark over all that 2-year-old form right now.
What's the totes here in race 4?
I'll give you a drop out there, mate. Forensics has come up 440. Sleek Chassis, not surprising, has come up our Super Tab favourite at 310. She's a little bit longer than that on track, but she is the favourite. On the second page, this came up about $5 on track. Belmur, it's the one they've been prepared to push out very quickly, Belmur. They're trying to get money out of her straight away at $7. She is well under. This is a high-quality race than we thought. There were 5 or 6 live chances. Punters say no, there's only one. Sleek Chassis 330 into 290. It's been a solid go. Clear.
They're all ready. The gates are back. They're racing. Gabardon slow out. Chinchilla Rose wasn't brilliant out. Beldamur bounced out quickly, so too did Forensics over near the inside and going forward, Rose Ceremony. But at the 650-metre mark, and he backs off a little in front on Belmur. 2 lengths, Queen Felvalon, 2.5 Rose Ceremony. A length further back, Forensics, 1.5 Sleek Chassis, 2 Eldana. Then Chinchilla Rose, and last of all, Gabardon up to the home turn. Around the corner they come now, and Belmur by 3. Queen Felvalon is under pressure now from Rose Ceremony. Forensic and Sleek Chassis, they're all a mile back. Belmur at the 300-metre mark. 4 lengths in front. Rose Ceremony gets to second. Then Queen Felvalon down the outside, Sleek Chassis and Chinchilla Rose. But this is a great turn of foot all the way for Belmur. Getting tired, 2 in front. Sleek Chassis eating up the ground. But Belmur finds the line just in time. Belmur beats Sleek Chassis, Chinchilla Rose. Then further back, Eldana from Forensics. Rose Ceremony further back in the race than Gabardon, and tailed off last of all as Queen Felvalon.
Well, Nick Price, is he one of the best judges and preparers in the business, and Craig Newitt carries out his instructions to the letter, and would you believe they run exactly the same time to the 100th of a second, 13.40. Belmare, the only horse in the race who went with a run behind it, charged out, ridden positively by Newitt to use that fitness edge. It went his Forensics, the slipper winner. Disappointing for Mindshame, but that's good tactics. Operation successful here.
Well, look, she's a well-bred filly that's now got a listed race win, and I suppose all these fillies are pointed into the 1,000 guineas, but she probably just need a kiss and a cuddle up.
On the spot, is it a golden slipper hoodoo for Forensics, or are we just going to put that one away and look to the next run?
She went awful. Damon Oliver said don't give up on her. There's plenty of improvement. Look, she looked like I thought she was going to get beat easy, and then she just kept on whacking the line. I wouldn't give up on her yet. I know she's too good for that.
Look, Sleek Chassis, terrific performance, chasing hard. Chinchilla Rose came from behind it. Terrific performance too. Eldana, I think Andrew liked its performance. But, gee, I tell you what, I was very, very disappointed with Forensics. It drew the
price there with the winner, owned by breeders, and got the prize here, and I just thought it was a good piece of placement. I see, as you do, the other 2 fillies, Sleek Chassis and Chinchilla Rose, as the ones to follow out of the race, and I was a little disappointed with Forensics, but I wouldn't sack it yet. Just in against the
field. Here's Bruce Clark.
Thank you, Rich. This is the Liston Stakes, or is it the Apache Cat Stakes? Because punters here on course have rallied behind one of Australia's most popular horses. No favourite has won this race for 13 years since Mahogany. No, punters don't care about it. Marasco's out to $3. All that Marasco money were action early in the week. The big money, the top price or bet all week was $2.30 Apache Cat. Bet Spinefighter and Maldivian. But the punters, they want to see how their money goes, and they've put all their money here onto Apache Cat. Marasco Shane, oh, there's the totes again on screen. Look, Apache Cat $2, that's about right. Marasco $2.60, that quotes his unders $3. And
the signal given. Racing in the Liston, away they go, and Apache Cat wasn't brilliant out of the gates, and Maldivian Live in Vain the first out. The big cat, Apache Cat, recovers, quickly goes up third, followed by Marasco pushing up fourth. Fifth, Pompey Ruler, maybe better, Centre Fighter, third on the Liston. Live in Vain a length in front of Maldivian, 2.5 Apache Cat, he gets all the favours today. 3 behind him, Marasco, fourth, a length maybe better. 1 further back running 6, Pompey Ruler, 2 to Centre Fighter, followed by Blue Monday. Then Red Lord and Giro Valley last of all. 600 out on the list and coming to the turn. Live in Vain a length and a half in front. Second Maldivian a length further back, Apache Cat. He's easing out 3 deep. 2 to Marasco, given a crack with a whip by Harvey. Maybe better the inside, and then Pompey Ruler into the straight. Live in Vain leads. Here's Apache Cat. Maldivian there in the centre. 2 to Marasco. Then maybe better and Pompey Ruler. Apache Cat asked to lengthen down now, and he goes to Maldivian. 200 to go. Marasco coming through with a big run. Apache Cat laying out a little in front. Marasco getting to him on the inside. Apache Cat in front, given a soft ride by Rod. Apache Cat, he wins a long head to Marasco. What a spring they're going to have. Maldivian third, fourth home Pompey Ruler. Oh, there's Blue Monday flashing home, maybe better flashing home with Blue Monday. Both good runs from Live in Vain, Giro Valley, Red Lord, and tailed off something amiss there was Centre Fighter.
Apache Cat brilliant today. Marasco excellent. Maldivian fantastic. Blue Monday terrific. A great Liston Stakes. It goes the way of the favourite Apache Cat. Didn't get going early. He may have jumped in the air. We might get to look at it shortly, but he could. But today, the favourite home, Apache Cat.
Well, they might get him at 1,600. He won't race beyond, but I'm guaranteeing you again, at 1,400 and below, they won't beat this horse. He's just too...
Then I heard the footsteps on the inside. A soft win. Well, I thought Marasco kept on coming. I thought it was a real good effort to keep on coming, to get beat only a long head.
Okay. A good day and a great performance by your horse again.
Yeah, wonderful, Bruce. He's just got to stop missing those starts a little bit. It's not good for the heart, but he made up for it.
We just watched that.
I think Fred Kersley would have been tickled pink. I like the way that Marasco just looked under pressure. Good horses just find a way to keep on coming, and that's what he did.
Marasco, like Michael Rod, was taking it pretty easy.
Yeah,
I believe he is. I think there's another one in him, absolutely. Group 1, he's... he can carry weight. He can virtually sort of make up his own game plan in a race, and he's got a lot of dimensions that he can race forward. He can take a sit like he did yesterday. If the pace is right, and he handles any sort of ground. So he's very, very versatile in that regard.
Actually, and that's a big plus, being versatile. And
some of the runs behind him, Marasco in particular was a very, very good run. Maldivian battled on well. Pompey Ruler was very good. He ran fourth. Fifth was Blue Monday, the stayer, who may be a factor over longer distances and maybe better. They all ran very, very well behind him. You would have seen their runs, Greg. How did you rate them?
Look, I thought Marasco's run was super run. Maldivian, he held on very well. Pompey Ruler, maybe better. I mean, there was... you could take a lot out of the run and,
We've never had equine influenza before. Just to give you an example, if it goes for a month, it'll cost us $1 billion in turnover. In betting, that's in New South Wales alone. So the longer it goes, the more costly it is, and it'll have a devastating effect on the thoroughbred racing industry nationally.
Welcome to a special edition of Racing Review. I'm your host, Frank Coletta. It is fair to say the Australian racing industry is in the midst of its winter of discontent. Australia's third biggest industry is facing its mightiest foe, equine influenza. It has shut down racing for 72 hours and perhaps more, and a very big...
After what can only be described as the bleakest day in thoroughbred racing. The whole industry yesterday, thoroughbred racing and harness racing, with the exception of racing up in Darwin, closed down, locked down after the breakout of equine influenza. So,
coping in terms of staff numbers with this outbreak.
Lose out on $1.2 million of prize money paid, and I stress that that's only for the first 72 hours. We do not know how long this will go for. As I said, we are in the hands of the New South Wales government.
Tonight, all bets remain off. Victoria's multi-billion-dollar racing industry in lockdown until Saturday. Good evening. First tonight, Victoria has closed its borders to all interstate horses as the equine influenza crisis deepens. The disease has been detected at Sydney's Royal Randwick stables, potentially affecting up to 800 thoroughbreds. The
stand still in this state.
Australia's fourth, but Victorian racing officials are determined to get back on track. Permits have been issued to trainers to recommence horses' work, and a metropolitan meeting has been set down for Saturday. The Melbourne Cup will go ahead too on the first Tuesday in November, even if it means only Victorian horses take part. Frank Coletta.
The virus, authorities are to exactly how it came in, but as you said, the main thing now is the containment of it. So there we are. The Golden Rose meeting has been abandoned at Rose Hill, and we'll wait and see. As I said, on Monday they're going to...
You can see the magnitude. We make up about 40% of the betting turnover in Australia. So if that equates out to $100 million around Australia in lost betting revenue for every 72 hours that this goes on. How much money?
We don't know. You don't know how many people it's going to affect, the families it's going to affect, but it's a frightening time. We've said it that many times.
There has been a stunning new development in the Spring Carnival saga, with leading Cups contender Pompey Ruler out of racing for a year. However, his scratching has nothing to do with the equine influenza epidemic. He has broken down with a leg injury.
Everything seems full steam ahead on that.
Okay, so Caulfield on Saturday. Benella's gone, Moonee Valley Night's gone. What's the programming going to be at Caulfield?
The program at Caulfield will be... It'll be a minimum of 10 races. So we'll take the Crockett Stakes and the McEwen from the Moonee Valley program, and we'll put it onto the Caulfield program. So that'll take us up to 10. And
that has told you one in, all in. And if one's got it at Randwick, unfortunately, you'd think that all 700 are going to get it.
OK, well, we've got a confirmed case of EI in Anthony Cummings' Randwick stables, but that is going to be tested again, with the sample being taken to Menangle and also to Geelong. Randwick is going to take a break now. We'll be back shortly on TV.
Shocking news. Randwick's now in total lockdown. We've got more horses testing positive to EI at Randwick. Therefore, it was our worst nightmare. It's a disaster. And Greg, you were there.
That's it.
Just a question that takes a fraction, Greg. We talk about, all the experts have told us, one in, all in. It's a 28-day period from the last horse that tests positive. What about your thoughts, and we've heard from experts, about making the process quicker? Let's get all the horses positive. It's going to happen, and then that 28-day period commences straight away. Otherwise, if it takes 14 days more for all the horses to test positive, every day's worth $1 million.
Look, I think, Richard, our vet...
To replace the summer carnival at around Christmas time or something like that, is that a possibility?
Look, it is, Mark. I guess what we have to look at there, new influx of horses for those types of races, which would have been your Hawkesbury Cup, Villiers horses. We just really don't know. We've got to go back to the...
Well, New South Wales racing is on its knees tonight after the Sydney Spring Carnival was cancelled. The decision was made after 8 horses from the Randwick stables of trainer Anthony Cummings tested positive to equine influenza. The disease is now expected based at Sydney's premier track.
It is the darkest day of the industry in New South Wales, no doubt about that whatsoever. It's as I've called it, it's a natural disaster. There's 50,000 participants now that can't earn a wage out of racing.
Racing isn't expected to resume in New South Wales for at least 2 months. Betting on Melbourne's feature spring races will remain suspended until September 11.
Will come to punt at the halt. It's a natural disaster. There's 50,000 participants now that can't earn a wage out of racing.
We really now have to brace ourselves for what could be catastrophic consequences throughout the rest of the spring.
If it's a one in, all in, what are your thoughts in relation to we speed the process up by infecting the other horses?
I don't think you'll have to worry. It's spreading so quickly that the majority of horses will get it regardless of what you do.
The Australian government established a $4 million fund
for getting them back racing at Warwick Farm, albeit with a closed meeting. And protocols, they're working fine here. Only 7 minutes to post time for the Crockett Stakes with the Arrow Training Services sponsorship. Royal Asher there at 2.80. They're betting $3 on course. Gladwell's value at Largaloo on the second page, 8.30 value. Only 7.13 Largaloo. This is the Crockett Stakes, and it's been transferred from Moonee Valley. Going to be a good test, this. Let's go to Brian.
Now Antarctic Miss goes the fillies. Gates are back and they're off. A little bit slow to get going was Rada after the start. It was dropping back and out fast as Midnight Joy. Antarctic Miss began quickly with Largaloo. As they slow a little in front, followed by Volcarter. Gladwell in that bunch. Further back, Catch 22, Class Apart. Then Rada, further back, Bantry Bay. Royal Asher back second last. And Gravitron last of all, 6.50 out. Antarctic Miss from Largaloo second. Brazen Hussy went up third from Midnight Joy, then Gladwell. On the fence just behind them, Volcarter. Royal Asher comes around the outside. Then further back in the race, coming up to the turn, pulled out deep, Gravitron from Class Apart. Well back, Catch 22 when they turn from Rada, Bantry Bay. Antarctic Miss first for home on the outside. Royal Asher winding up down the centre, races up now, followed by Largaloo. Then Volcarter, followed by Gladwell, but lengthening now. Royal Asher has hit the front at the 180 metre mark from Gladwell. Then Largaloo. Antarctic Miss fighting on, but Royal Asher the favourite in front. She's too good for Ollie. A soft win, a kind ride, and Royal Asher wins a length. Gladwell. Antarctic Miss is third, further back Largaloo. Rada ran on well after missing the kick. Then Bantry Bay, a gap further back, then Volcarter.
Went probably 8 or 10 deep on the corner and made a run before the corner and had the race won halfway down the straight.
It's pretty arrogant, really, wasn't it?
Was, you know, you'd like to think she'd train on for the Guineas and those sort of races now. She's
with Damien Oliver. Numbers 3, 4, 10 and 13. Royal Asher, Damien Oliver for Lee Freedman, 280 and 150.
Career best. Shame, but she's treating those with some sort of contempt.
You summed that up. That was arrogant. That was her best victory by far, and I wouldn't...
Because it just didn't work yesterday. However, in saying that, take nothing away from it, it did treat them with contempt, made them look second-rate. Gladwell held up a little bit, got pushed around a tad, but did very well in the concluding stages.
Weekend.
When you said made the others look second-rate, I sort of think they are. I don't think that you can beat horses that easily and that dominantly unless they are a standard lower than you, and I think she's...
I will try. And what a line-up here. Last year, of course, the girls were in, and a good girl it was, and it was Miss Finland beating Arada's son, but the girls had their own race today, and these are the boys. Gee, he's short, isn't he, on the tote? Shrewd Rhythm, 240. They're betting $3.50. Merthyr Gill at $6. Tighter on course here. In the betting, so you would think.
Well, it's certainly going to be his test. I've only got 2 carnival horses here, Bruce, and this is one of them, so we're the stable's cheering hard.
What is the stable doing now in Sydney? What's your father doing in terms of trying to keep these horses on song in the event you can get some of them here?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I know the stewards in Sydney were there this morning and they were trying to make it extra quarantine like the trial in Sydney on Tuesday, and then...
Stand by for a start. Gates are back and they're off. And they've jumped in a pretty good line too. Hart, Pins on Parade out wide, have bounced out quickly. From the outside, Pins on Parade and Hart, and they're going to get out and lead by a good margin to Pillar of Hercules, Avcon, and last of all, Shrewd Rhythm. Coming up inside the 800 now, Pins on Parade from Hart. A length for the back, Playwright. Marching went up 4th. Pillar of Hercules 5th, followed by Scenic Blast. Then further back was Murder Jill, down under Boy Ciccone. Shrewd Rhythm coming to the outside of Davcon and Cuckoo's Nest. The leader, Pins on Parade from Hart up to the turn from Playwright. And then came Scenic Blast off the track coming to the turn from Murder Jill. Shrewd Rhythm waiting for a run. Who'll come to the outside when they turn in now. Pins on Parade. Scenic Blast coming at it. Further back then Marching, followed by Hart. Down the outside, down under Boy. Scenic Blast on the outside going after Pins on Parade. Scenic Blast has moved to Pins on Parade from Marching. Nothing else from behind, but Scenic Blast has got it set in front. And Scenic Blast comes home to win. A half length to Pins on Parade. Marching 3rd. A gap then to Murder Jill 4th, followed by Pillar of Hercules, then Hart. From the turn, Shrewd Rhythm only struggled, followed further back by Down...
By Scenic Blast, and no excuses here for the Beaten Brigade. Jason Brown rounded them up on the home turn in the .65. They've run half a second plus quicker than Royal Asher in the previous. I think, Steve, you've got to believe what you see. That's good.
Very impressive performance and interesting to see.
Successful. We've just seen what I suppose you believed.
Yeah, of 5, and I think what you see is what you get there. Shane Templeton, Scenic Blast, very good performance, and was 6/10 quicker.
It's an impressive victory because I like the second horse. He worked across the field from an outside gate. That was his first defeat. And I think you and I have always liked Marching and think that he's going places this campaign. They've beaten the others pretty easily.
Well, Cody didn't like the fence much, being inside, got into a bit of trouble. Murthergill got galloped on. And
in order, one's better than the other, and back in the field, you know, Hart, down under boy, Murthergill was better. Shrewd Rhythm, totally ignore that. Craig will learn by that.
No, that was David Hayes' mistake. He gives himself the crack there. David Hayes said that he told Craig to go back.
Oh, yeah,
he said they crawled in front and it was his call on that. So we probably won't see Shrewd Rhythm until exactly where Scenic Blast will go.
Right. I tell you what, that Golden Slipper form, it's looking a little dodgy now, dodgier than it was 2 weeks ago.
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
The autumn 2-year-old form is rubbish. This is a new season altogether. That was an arrogant win by that horse, and if he settles, he's a great chance in the Caulfield Guineas. Just got to learn to settle that bit. Maybe he was a little fresh going into that race, but Marching confirmed that he was the unlucky runner in the Vane Stakes. But you pull out the Golden Slipper field and have a look at it.
Yeah, they haven't struck a blow yet, have they?
No. Not one of them's won.
Political battle out here today. On paper, not much speed. I know you've done mountains of form for the race. So how do you read a speed map here?
No, you're spot on, Bruce. There's not much pace, and the way that the track's racing, it is favouring on-pace type of horses if they get an easy time. The way where the rail is and the way that they're racing today, it just seems to be very hard to make ground, and they've been very good that Cinque Cento might be a leader with Super One, and then I'd say from there, Harada-san's got a harder job than I have, but I'm out there to ride my horse. And
Menzies Stakes. We're just 10 minutes away. Looking forward to it. It's the real highlight here at Caulfield this afternoon. Last year it was El Segundo beating Casual Pass, and we told you today he's since been retired. Apache Cat ran third. This year, who will it be? Friedman's 77 down to Harada-san. The key players, $3.30, virtually the same on course. 9 Efficient, the Derby winner, resuming's big odds 32. His 25 tote has drifted out to around the $14 mark on track. And Miss Finland, $3.30, $3.40 on the tote, and on course is around the $4 mark.
Probably a bit more muscled up and a little bit more forward in the coat, but you know, the month between runs doesn't concern me one bit whatsoever. But it's probably one reason. Look, he's always had a propensity to want to lay in, and he's
racing. Blue Tigeroo bounced quickly down on the inside. Miss Finland away fast. Super One has begun okay, and from the outside, let's have a look. Tipung Woody and Cinque Cento. They're pushing up towards the front, settling down. Cinque Cento will take it up from Tipung Woody. Then Ladder the Manor is fairly keen with Super One, and Harada-san is out 3 and 4 deep, but he's going on. Harada-san going around the outside, up now to go up outside Cinque Cento, and the last two are El Segundo, and on the inside of it Efficient. They've gone to the 800 metre mark and they slow up. It's Cinque Cento a neck in front of Harada-san. Ladder the Manor is out 3 wide out third. Fourth is Super One. They're followed by Tipung Woody. Then came Miss Finland running 6th. Nicanero from Maybe Better. Further back Activation. Blue Tigeroo followed by Falstaff, El Segundo, and Efficient is last of all, coming around the bend. And it's Cinque Cento from Harada-san. Super One back on the inside, further out, Ladder the Manor. Miss Finland coming down the centre from Tipung Woody. Harada-san has got to the front of the 300 from Cinque Cento. Super One the rail. Miss Finland out wider from Tipung Woody. Harada-san in front. Miss Finland is starting to level up, and El Segundo flying. The mighty mare, Miss Finland, takes the lead. Miss Finland, what an effort. A half-length Harada-san. Third home, Tipung Woody, and fourth on the outside, El Segundo. Then further back was Nicanero, a gap in the race into Cinque Cento. Behind those, Maybe Better ran on, followed by Super One, Blue Tigeroo. Ladder the Manor Efficient, well back Falstaff, and last of all, tailed off is Activation.
On this day last year, Miss Finland beat Harada-san in the McNeil Stakes. On the first day of spring 2007, Miss Finland proves she is one of the stars of Australian racing, beating Harada-san and Tipper.
Fantastic performance from this mare, Miss Finland. She joins Mackay Diva, Sunline twice, Dane Ripper, Cox Plate written all over it.
Yeah, magical. Very much, Steve. Well, stunning return by Miss Finland.
No, she's really a superstar. She travelled all night and beat the best in Australia, and I'm just so pleased she's ticked that weight for age box, because there's a few doubting that she could be a weight for age horse, but you know, she's a chance to be one of the best weight for age horses this year, and I think we're in for a great preparation.
It's been such a weight. Not ideal to travel and get here. Not ideal to travel and get here at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. Normally you're here 4 or 5 days before.
Yeah. She got here 11 o'clock last night, and she's basically been on her feet for 24 hours. But you know, I thought she was pretty dominant today.
No doubt about that. Cox.
She's a superstar.
Well, that sums it up, I think. Superstar.
Absolutely, Bruce. Those El Segundo 33.8 in his last 200 metres in 11 flat. What did he run his last 400 in, El Segundo, Bruce? 21.7. Last year it was 21.8, so he's well and truly on song. And probably...
She's enormous today. David asked what the margin was, and I just said it was just too easy.
So you had plenty left?
Well, it was her first win at weight for age. It certainly won't be her last. It was her third meeting with Harada Sun and her third defeat of Harada Sun. A race full of interest, Shane Templeton, but...
To hear David Hayes starting to talk her up in dulcifying, better loosen up terms, we're starting to really get the accolades that she's probably always deserved. I remember when we were previewing the race on Friday.
Damien Oliver came out and said Harada Sun reversed the barriers, reversed the result. Would you concur?
Definitely not.
Must be easy. Shane Harada Sun, what'd you make of him?
Oh, there was a terrific run again. I mean, I could see why Ollie wanted to ride him that way. And let's just be blunt, he was beaten by Miss Finland, so there's no disgrace in that. He went really well, quickly
through them, El Segundo.
Oh, now this is fabulous. Now, I reckon everything this year, if you're... I don't know what tickle pink means, but if you're in the El Segundo camp, that's what you'll be feeling at the moment, because Colin's been saying to us all along, he's just a little behind, and I reckon that's terrific. I reckon this year, Cox Plate Day, he will be at his absolute peak.
Tip on Woody?
Fabulous. There'll be races for him.
Stayers went well, maybe better.
Yeah, they all ran. That was just a great race, but, you know, the class mare prevailed.
And Steve Arnold.
I thought Miss Finland's effort to come from South Australia overnight, to travel during the night, to turn up, to race the best that's available at the moment and to beat them, I thought that was a fabulous effort. And she has really made the leap from 3-year-old to 4-year-old standard. They go up in weight. It's a big jump. She has made the jump.
Probably put a case forward here that Harada Sun will never ever beat Miss Finland again. One did it a bit tough in the early stages, but I tell you what, Miss Finland still had to come out and go around him late in the race. Fantastic performance, both of them. El Segundo, very, very good. Nicanero, Cinquecento got held up. You just about now you see where Damien shifted in and caused a bit of problem there. Fantastic race.
And Dado Tanchin Darren Beedman seems to be the favourite now, just in the last sort of half an hour from Gleaming. Nashra Willer's in the mix. This is because Damien Oliver's suspended, so Darren Beedman could be riding Harada Sun in Melbourne at its next start. All these horses go to the Dado Tanchin. El Segundo has come through extremely well, given that Colin Little was concerned about the track being very firm yesterday.
Good effort. What about Corey?
No real flop there. There's no real designated flop. They're all going to be... We've got to assess them next time we look at them. Look, I thought Efficient was good for a 2-miler.
Yep. Yeah, it ran on really good. The 400...
To you shortly. We've got the Ian McEwen coming up here, and Oliver rides 9 Gold Edition, favourite at 2 to 1. Sorry, even money, $2 over 6 Here the Angels, who's 3 to 1 or $4, and that's the race. On the second page, 11 Ticklish and 12 Husson Lightning. They're $11 and $10 chances, but it's Gold Edition even money. Very short on all the totes.
Fair comment. He might be able to slot in, and as we speak, there's been some support for Here the Angels. Got out to 420. That's been
set to run. Signal. Racing. She began okay. Gold Edition down on the inside. Husson Lightning and Ticklish have begun quickly out towards the centre with Cap Hero. And settling down, going forward now. Devil inside with Ticklish, and they slap it right on. They're up sharing the lead about 1.5 to 2 in front now from Gold Edition. And Husson Lightning further back in the race. Then on the outside came Cap Hero. 1.5 Here the Angel stands out. They're followed by our Maharaja, Snappy Tom, Corporal Nadeem, and Dr. Nippon Tucker's last of all. It's Devil inside from Ticklish coming to the turn. Cap Hero 3 out. The grey waits for the run back on the inside. Gold Edition from Husson Lightning. Then Here the Angels. Our Maharaja stands out into the straight. She can't get out Gold Edition. They're really crowding up now. It's Ticklish, Devil inside, Gold Edition the fence, and Husson Lightning coming at them. Gold Edition grabbed by Husson Lightning out in the middle. Our Maharaja running on, but it's Husson Lightning in front of Gold Edition. Our Maharaja and Dr. Nippon Tuck. Here the Angels kick clear. Here the Angels is the one. Here the Angels. Here the Angels gets clear from Gold Edition to win. Dr. Nippon Tuck has run third, followed by our Maharaja. Stands out. They run over the top of Ticklish. Husson Lightning close up. Then Snappy Tom, Corporal Nadeem, Cap Hero, and Devil inside is last of all.
Well, Here the Angels proves his quality, remaining unbeaten. 6 out of 6 in 57.41. Records 56.1. Gold Edition got the inside run. perhaps maybe 10, 20 metres later than it might have wanted to come for Damien.
Fantastic performance, Bruce, and those totes have come through now on Super Tab. $4.20 for the winner, $1.50 the place, 9 gold edition, $1.20, $3.
Run third, followed by
Well, 6 out of 6 now, unbeaten for Heady Angels. Gold edition just held up on the corner with stands out. Got out probably a touch later when momentum went the way of Heady Angels. Cracking horse in Gold edition run second, but what do you say when you've got Dr. Nip and Tuck and Al Maharaja right on their heels?
I guess what you say is that Dr. Nip and Tuck and Al Maharaja are in for pretty good springs. Because
he's wrapped with him, Shane Temmel's wrapped with him, but I wouldn't take anything away from Gold edition Shane, who thoroughly honest performance as usual.
What I like, she's a very brave phone. I don't think she's a genuine 1,000-metre horse.
No, I agree.
The day with Gold Edition, she unfortunately just lost momentum at a critical stage. And let's face it, here to Angels, he's no slouch.
Surprised Lee with that quote this morning, but it's off to the Group 1 Manikato. Gold edition will go there, and a new jockey has to be found there, boys.
The only horse that I was a bit disappointed in that it didn't get clear daylight was a little horse called Hassan's Lightning.
Yeah, never saw daylight. Look, I'm a little concerned about the race. It's a bunch finish. I know it's only 1,000 metres. Lovely ride by Corey from an outside draw. 3 out with cover, chimed in at the right time. There was a lot of interference behind him. A horse like Al Maharaja.
Extraordinary performance. What you're seeing on screen now, of course, is the horses behind the gates for the Mudgeway. And this is the feature race from Hastings in New Zealand today. We're about 3 minutes away from the start, and you can see the totes there on screen. Sea Change, the mare. We've seen her over here regularly. She's the short price favourite. And over the page, Jardine, of course, too, who can perform so well through the Queensland winter, $5.60.
They're under his instructions, really racing in the Mudgeway. Kaiser waits slow. Princess Cope went back, splashing out, didn't have a lot of early speed. Amy's Idol has, though. She's showing plenty of leg. The Puka goes with her. Who knows? Sea Changer right there. Then we've got Joker's Wild. Jardine's going to tuck into a nice run. Nose is right on these runners, and Joker's Wild working around the outside of the field. Then Sea Change. She's close enough, looking to get clear air as they come down the side. The outside of her, who knows? Sarah J. The inside. 600 to go in the Mudgeway. Then Jardine, Bonjour's the next. Portini, Jim Kayser, Wake and Gaze. Splashing out Coghill, Princess Cope and Bolgambar trying to circle them all. They straighten up in the Mudgeway. 450 metres to go, and Joker's Wild's at the lead. Here's Sea Change. She's coming out and after him pretty well. Joker's Wild is fighting on. Sea Change after him on the outside. She's hit the lead now, and Sea Change in front. She's a length clear in the Mudgeway from Joker's Wild. Jardine's dashing home the last little bit. Sea Change, horse of the year last year, and what a brilliant winner of the Mudgeway. She does it again. Coghill flew at the finish with Jardine. Joker's Wild behind them, who knows? Then we had the Puka, followed through, splashing out Princess Cope, Portini.
The wonderful mare Sea Change, last year's horse of the year in New Zealand, $2.20 and $1.20 there for Sea Change. Number 2, Coghill, $4.70 for second.
Joker's Wild behind them. Back to back for Sea Change. She's won 11 of 19. The daughter of Cape Cross. She's won just over $1 million. Of course, we saw her win the Mannerism Stakes at Caulfield. She's in the Cox Plate betting around $34. She's third in the Celt last year. I reckon the mile might just see her out, Shane.
Waste of time her worry about a Cox Plate against high-level horses. I think she is a really high-class miler. You've hit the nail on the head. High-class milers don't necessarily win Cox Plates. I think the Sydney people are starting to learn that.
Yeah, big press. And the one to follow out of that for mile will be Joker's Wild. Track was just off yesterday. Might get over here and be a two-rack horse. But we'll have a look at the latest markets for the Caulfield Cup first. Markets coming through from Betstar and Maldivian for the Caulfield Cup at $10 from Blue Tiger. He's my pick, $11 at the moment. Torquay, see him next week, we hope. Efficient, maybe better Eskimo, you wouldn't think?
I wouldn't think so. The new Might and Power for mine, Maldivian. I think he's going to have that same style of racing about him this spring, and he'll take a lot of beating in anything he contests.
So we've got the new Northerly Empire's Choice from Steve Moore. Now we've got the new Might and Power. Those are the Lasterists there. Hopefully we can get Fumicino down. Tuesday, Joy would have to be doubtful, you would think, coming from Randwick, but you'd love to see Fum. I think Craig can read this out. Craig, who's the favourite for the Cox Plate?
Miss Finland.
$3.60. Marasco. Look at that top four, Shane. That's where the winner is from what we've got at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
the Melbourne Cup is the latest betting. I agree with you, Shane, just didn't have to say it. Efficient at $10. Pretty similar here. Purple Moon from the UK, Luca Kamani, Yates, Aidan O'Brien. Bellamy Key is Dermot Weld, Tuesday Joy. Well, we hope she gets here. Yeah, I'm sure. I think the weights on Monday, Shane, are pretty critical to, obviously, the North. It's a big day next Saturday in Moorways for one. It'll be a big day on the track. It'll be a massive day off the track. If you can get to the races at Flemington, even for those coming from interstate, you should come along and have a look at a magnificent...
We are 2 minutes from jump time. And this is a definitive race in terms of how this track is playing on its first day, Steve, because you would expect a lot more tempo here.
You would think so. Bigger field creating its own energy up front. As we speak, Bruce, a nibble for Eskimo Queen, the Oaks winner, resuming. Got out to around the $8.50 mark. They've taken that as firm.
About 1,200 metres, but of course that wasn't coming off the back of an Oaks preparation.
Well, it's going to be interesting here too, isn't it, that we might see a few drawn out.
Set to go, Brumfield into the inside racing. Left in a good line, Bellini Rose a little bit slow into stride. Devil Moon ridden hard from the gates and jumping quickly. Empire Dancer after the start. It's one of the leaders with Causeway Lass going up to head it off from Russian Bell. And Just Mamont is starting to work forward. Causeway Lass took it up. Devil Moon very deep around Just Mamont from Russian Bell. Empire Dancer a length and a half. Jacqueline Rouge a length. Dirty Denim then gone. Red Faloo followed by Regal Summer, who's got out of its ground with Eskimo Queen and two to Miss Latar. The leader Devil Moon around the outside. A length to Just Mamont. Causeway Lass went back third. They're followed by Empire Dancer, followed further out by Jacqueline Rouge. A length and a half to Russian Bell. Dirty Denim then Promiscuous. Two Bellini Rose gone. Can Canal, Eskimo Queen. Then Bromfilinity followed further back by Regal Summer. Red Faloo last, second last Miss Latar. They're homeward bound here and it's Devil Moon. Outside of Just Mamont. Jacqueline Rouge makes a line of three. Causeway Lass behind those. Out further Promiscuous and the pink cap from Empire Dancer. Further back then Bellini Rose down the centre. Devil Moon at the 300 metre mark. Length and a length in front of Jacqueline Rouge. Just Mamont under pressure. Right down the outside. Here's Eskimo Queen for the back of the field with Bellini Rose. But Devil Moon's 3 lengths in front at the 100 metre mark. Eskimo Queen, Bellini Rose and Jacqueline Rouge trying hard, but Devil Moon, big win. Devil Moon by 2 lengths. Eskimo Queen second. Bellini Rose third from Jacqueline Rouge. Miss Latar ran on. Then Just Mamont, Can Canal. Regal Summer followed by Promiscuous. A gap then to Dirty Denim. Empire Dancer from Red Faloo. Causeway Lass, Russian Bell. Bromfilinity back at the tail with Gorn.
He could be in for a very big day, Mark Kavanagh. Of course, he has Maldivian and Divine Madonna to go, and Devil Moon from the outside gate works over, exposed in front, but another leader wins. Eskimo Queen's in for a great prep. So too, Belen. Outside of the 1400 is what?
Well, they said before that the outside of the 1400 was just suicide, stay home. So, you know, I sort of thought, oh, well, don't worry about it. We've got to go around. We've got other races in mind. So that's what we did. We rode a positive. They're leading from, you know, they're winning from up handy today. So that's what we did. Well, she's nominated for the Caulfield Cup. It's hard hits, but if we could...
Well, first two home, both heading towards the Caulfield Cup. Devil Moon's in with 50, Eskimo Queen 50 and a half. Eskimo Queen, a good chance of getting it with that, given the weight for age situation. Devil Moon, excellent. Positive ride by Rod.
Natural type of talent and was an impressive win. Both the top two there, well worth following.
Well, Mark Kavanagh.
She did get there. She switched off and settled absolutely beautifully. She's got the pedigree to get further. So I tell you what, no one knows where this is going to finish up. Most impressed with it. Eskimo Queen, well, I don't have to say any more about it because it got back and ran on brilliantly. We know it's a Group 1 horse. Bellini rode off them.
It's quite an amazing race, this. The first 5 across the line through the 5 outside barriers, which is quite incredible. You know, 3 of them went back, 2 of them went forward. The winner crossed and led. I thought Bellini Rose's run was good. Miss Latar, she's been going around at big odds in recent races. She got cluttered up back in there behind them, but she hit the line quite nicely late, and she was coming off a reasonably good win at Caulfield last start. But I think there's a bit of form out of that race.
Flemington 14.
Last start, but I think there's a bit of form out of that race.
Flemington 1400's always been a leader's paradise, and Eskimo Queen to make up ground like that was probably the run of the day. Could easily develop into a Caulfield Cup match.
Well, she was.
It's coming up here, Rich. Looking forward to that. Royal Ashes, the favourite. You can see the horses down in that bottom pre-parade ring here. The security arrangements keeping all the punters away here. Oh, the Danehill Stakes and Zazoo Big Odds 1660 stable expecting improvement. Punters aren't. Scenic Blast 560. They're betting $6.50. MJ Hutt. Sleek Chassis at 720. That's good value. Only $5.50 here on course. Press the button at 25 to 1. Royal Asher over the page 440 out to $5 on course. Chinchilla Rose at the 6.5. So of the series, as you mentioned, it's had a few names. This in the Black Douglas, the Hilton on the Park, the Crown Casino, the Chivas Regal, the L'Oreal Plate, also strong the tote. But Royal Asher runs tote favourite. Surprised that.
Set to run, the gates are back and they're off this time. Royal Asher has bounced away okay with Perilist out fast near the inside. Zazoo. Chinchilla Rose, Sleek Chassis. Further out, Tantat Delago. Royal Asher trying to hold its line inside Perilist, and from the outside is MJ Hussey. When they settle into the course proper now at the 650 metre mark, Zazoo. Tantat Delago, a length in Chinchilla Rose, followed by Sleek Chassis. Royal Asher in the white face, further out from Diplomatic Force, then Perilist, further back, then came Scenic Blast. Out wider, MJ Hussey, Forensics, and down the outside, press the button. 400 to go. Tantat Delago goes up to Zazoo. Then on the outside, Royal Asher given full ball with Scenic Blast. Then Perilist followed by MJ Hussey. Royal Asher coming at Scenic Blast and Tantat Delago. Tantat Delago, Scenic Blast. Then Royal Asher now struggling. Tantat Delago kicks in. It's a length in front, getting close to the line from Scenic Blast and Tantat Delago. Big win. Tantat Delago, 2 lengths Scenic Blast. Photo third, Chinchilla Rose or Perilist, and Royal Asher just weakened late. Then further back in the race would have been on the outside Forensics, MJ Hussey, Sleek Chassis, then Zazoo. Diplomatic Force well back with Press the Button.
Peter Moody, he was very upbeat about Tantat Delago. Did anyone listen? Obviously not. $34.40 and $6.30. Scenic Blast fit and backing up from last week, had the right form, had its chance. This horse ran away from it.
Well, that's true. And as Peter Moody has been at pains to say, that very little between the supposed quality form of the autumn 2-year-olds and the winter form. That's been proved again here with Tantat Delago. 1:10.9 is the overall time. 1:10.9. The winner is, of course, 12 Tantat Delago. 34.40 and 6.30. 2 Scenic.
Group 3 races of Flemington at the start of spring. $31 SP betting.
Since a few weeks back, I mentioned it first that all the gun 2-year-old form from last season just doesn't seem to be holding up, and this is continuing on now.
He's here might want to rerun the race if they possibly could, Shane. Royal Asher and Carmen. No doubt Chinchilla Rose was unlucky. Probably unlucky they moved the rails back to the inside, barriers back to the inside rail. But first,
furlong. I thought Chinchilla Rose's run was outstanding. I think Danny O'Brien will be tickled pink with Chinchilla Rose's run.
And Richard, I'm going to be honest with you. I've got to be very, very critical. You held this horse up far, far too much, in my view. That is Royal Asher. It can pull. We saw it pull and go forward at Caulfield, and its head was going all over the place. I thought Chinchilla Rose also was unlucky, getting held up back on the fence. Got out, got opportunity of a little bit of a break, and it come back well, but it was allowed to run up near the speed, and that was the winning move.
Darren, he's giving you an absolute bake there.
And he didn't give you a chance to respond. He just went on to the waffle.
What do you say about that?
Rose on it. She's got a little bit of something running down his chin there.
Now, come on, did you hold it? Honestly, I was critical of your ride on it. You agree or not? Did you hold it up too much?
Of course he doesn't agree.
Well, to me, it wasn't over. That's its style of racing, where it gets its head down, and it looks like it's going a lot harder than what it's actually going. She was travelling probably a little bit too keen, not too much, but like the winner got away from her, put 4 lengths on her, and then she had back markers like Chinchilla Rose and Pure Realist making ground on her at the finish.
Does she feel like she ran a mile or not?
No.
No, it's a definite sprinter.
I think she's just got to have a hot speed and just sit off him.
Exactly. Just a trot and canter up front and a sprint.
Tunnel, and he is $2.70 on Super Tab. Marasco's at $2. You wouldn't believe Australia's most popular horse is not Australia's most popular tote horse. $2.70, $2 Marasco. On course different. Apache Cat now favourite $2.40. Marasco's got to $2.50. The only other horse, and getting back in the fields today, Steve. It's been a recurring theme, and some trainers airing their thoughts in most certain terms at the moment.
Well, they're not happy. Look, we have to say, to this point, it's racing very much like the old Flemington, the inside beyond pace. They're struggling to make ground to the middle of the track.
This is the feature, though, the Group 2 Maccabi Diva Stakes, formerly known as the Craig. Maybe the history doesn't matter. Change the name, you've got to start again, do you?
Not sure.
He's on the ground this time, they're off. and he's jumped away okay. Maldivian with Apache Cat. Anakoff began quickly down on the inside. Marasco just behind them. Apache Cat coming over fairly quickly as Maldivian takes it up. Apache Cat will go up second. Anakoff third, and about 3 lengths further back fourth early is Marasco. 2 then to Torquay, followed on the... They come up towards the 850 metre mark, and the leader just inside that here. Down on the inside is Maldivian, a length and a half. Apache Cat. The big cat is purring, running second. 2 lengths Anakoff being niggled at. 2 then Marasco, who gives Apache Cat about 3 lengths start when they come around the turn. Homeward bound to the 450 metre mark. Maldivian, a length and a half. Apache Cat, who hasn't been called for yet. 2 lengths then to Marasco going up on the outside. Then Anakoff, and further back in the race came zipping. Apache Cat going after Maldivian, 300 to go, and Marasco on the outside. Then further back zipping. Apache Cat hit the front. Here comes Marasco. Apache Cat and Marasco, they come away to fight it out, and Marasco's got his head in front. The Western Australian Marasco takes the lead from Apache Cat, and Marasco breaks the hoodoo, and Melbourne wins a half length. Apache Cat second, 2 lengths third is zipping, a great run. A gap then to Maldivian, Anakoff. Further back then Gallic, followed by Blue Monday, and Torquay last of all.
We've seen the best of him today, Marasco. Apache Cat every possible chance, but Marasco gunned him down, slowly run first half. He stalked him into the straight. He gets to the outside of him and he runs him down. He proves he is a Group 1 horse.
Without question, that's outstanding there today, giving Apache Cat a considerable start at the top of the straight.
And to say congratulations, good battle, but the best horse on the day won, Fred.
Yeah, I guess, well, I suppose he had the favours today, really. He got a really good run. They were going a little bit quick early, he was able to sit off. Darren, you know, at the moment to bring him forward. Then the wall was on. And I guess it turned out that he went the line just that little bit better.
You were waiting to... Are you happy to press towards a Cox Plate now?
I would think so, yeah. Look, yeah, he's on track. I mean, he's always...
Freddie Kersley, the trainer of Marasco, stable name Connie, and Connie Marasco is here to enjoy it too, Steve.
$1.20, Apache Cat $1.20.
Got him.
He's quality with a capital Q. He's a very relaxed horse, and just sort of had him where I wanted him. They were running speed up front. Just stalked Apache Cat. I always had him. Just a matter of when I went to him.
Well, away from Caulfield for the first time at his 5th Melbourne start, he breaks through in devastating fashion. Apache Cat, no excuses, zipping third last year, third this year, perhaps a better third this year than last behind Pompey Ruler. Behind Maldivian, fair, behind a few questions to be asked. But let's concentrate, Shane, on Marasco. There was no flat spot yesterday.
No, and gee, watching this race, I couldn't help but turn the clock back a few years and think of the words of Fred Kersley when we interviewed him midweek. It reminded me very much of Northerly stalking the Great Sunline. They were the same.
For yesterday with a win there, but Marasco in terrific form there yesterday. He is now equal favourite with Miss Finland for the Cox Plate, and Fred Kersley we spoke.
The third horse, Zipping. Oh, Frank, I thought he was super.
In terms of cup trials, absolutely. And
awesome.
The interesting...
He should be favourite right now with Miss Finland.
This is developing into a marvellous spring already, and we're only, you know, minutes into it.
Albeit without Sydney representation, unfortunately.
Which is a shame, but fortunately we've got a year where there's enough here to hold it together.
For sure. Well, let's go to
the... horse yesterday, he was able to just race on his own, enjoy the race, go when I wanted to go. He wasn't forced into a position where something was trying to dictate to him and force him to make a run when he wasn't ready, but he could just make the run when he wanted to, and he's a real winner.
Alfie, it was a great effort from the winner. There are a couple of decent efforts behind him. Zipping was one of them, but there are a few disappointments too.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, the tempo of this particular race was very, very solid, and I suppose it begs the query about Maldivian, whether it can actually run a trip for a Caulfield Cup. But look, he's running along, and I reckon he's doing it a little bit too tough in front himself. But Pat really produced his best around Flemington. Zipping, Richard, as you've said, was absolutely awesome in the concluding stages. And I suppose one question for Darren, you know, did the inside at this time of the day start to just cut out a little bit, Darren?
Not really. I thought the track raced pretty uniform all day. It was, as I was saying to the boys in the studio, like a lot of horses you can feel them changing stride and getting a little bit unbalanced and a little bit unsure of themselves, but yesterday it was hardly noticeable, even a horse changing stride, so that's how well you know, perfected the track is.
Yep. He's the other one from the race. Okay, this is the Bobby Lewis up the straight is our next race. Tote's coming up on screen. Divine Madonna, very short the tote, 360. Bookies are doing a much better. We're doing 5.5. The favourites on the second page, Bonhoeffer. On the first page, Shadowways at $9. That's a point more. Swick at $6. That's...
Of course, obviously, Marasco home in 34.8. Now, that was matched by Zipping, which is interesting.
Yep.
Also home in 34.8. Of course, Apache Cat is 1,000 and home in 35.7.
Dwayne Dunn very concerned about Flemington for Torquay. 2 failures.
Set to run. This is the Bobby Lewis. Bit of movement from Roman Squire. Settles again. Gates are back and they're off. They've begun in a fair line. Divine Madonna let go. Tomo, any suggestion, have bounced away quickly. Soleil down on the inside, showing speed. Further out, Monaghan Tweed, any suggestion, coming over fast. They're followed just off those by Storm Signal. Shadow out, Bonhoeffer. Then came Roman Squire back behind those to the outside. Divine Madonna and Flash Trick. Onto the course proper at the 600 metre mark now. It's Soleil. Monaghan Tweed heading it off on the outside. A length and a half, Valedictum. Shadowways getting up on the fence. And any suggestion, Storm Signal getting out from Let Go Tomo. Then came Bonhoeffer. Further back than Whiskey and Rye. Divine Madonna winding up down the outside from Swick. Flash Trick and then Roman Squire. Here comes Divine Madonna across the track. Bonhoeffer got to Let Go Tomo. Divine Madonna on the outside going after them. Bonhoeffer from Storm Signal. Swick getting out. Then Divine Madonna and Flash Trick with a late run. Bonhoeffer in front with 100 to go from Swick and Flash Trick. And it's Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to get the prize. Bonhoeffer scores a length and 3/4. Either Swick or Flash Trick in a photo for the miners. Then coming home late was Roman Squire. Divine Madonna just weakened on its run from Storm Signal. Then Let Go Tomo from Shadow Ways. Monaghan Tweed, Whiskey and Rye. Soleil well back.
But that's what you'd love to see that, Steve. You'd love to see raw emotion after a win like that. And obviously totally different to Freddie Kersley as emotion.
Big performance. He's certainly got a Group 1 win in him. First Group win for Wendy Kelly. More on her shortly, or some of her anyway. Swick was great first up. Flash Trick on the dry track. Excellent. Roman Squire, good. Divine Madonna just perhaps hit the wall there, Shane, but Bonhoeffer, he's going the right way.
Ever since we started following a couple of nice runs there, Roman Squires established that he's going to be up to spring standard, and Flash...
Source, and I think Divine Madonna, I still think she's got a Group 1 winner in her over the Carnival. I thought her run was full of merit.
And from Let Go Tomo. Then
don't know whether he's an improved horse. He's always had a heap of potential, this horse, and he has won up to 1,700, but they stretched him out to 2,000 last prep and it didn't work. I think Wendy Kelly's got the key to him now. Train him like a sprinter, treat him like a sprinter, and he's up there with... I think he's a Group 1 horse. I really do.
What about Roman Squire's run? It was very good.
He got lost, didn't he, when they sprinted? And
he's a Queenslander, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's just
he won the
running
Tats
in the 5th spot there.
He won the Tats Cup over there.
Unbelievable. Mentality 450. Favourite here, a point and a half shy of that 450. Full Machino, the Derby winner, $3.50, 2 points longer. Coalesce at $26 is spot on the mark. $6.40, about 3/4 a point shorter on track. And the bottom one, Grace, spot on. Fu Machino, $5, 2 better on track. $24 is about 12 on. Camarilla, $5, a half point longer. Grey Stream, $23 is spot on the mark.
1,400 metres, they're set to go. And they're off and racing now. Well, Mentality broke well near the outside, and so too did Camarilla, showing plenty of speed. And Phil Machino's not all that far away. Grey Stream and Fillets are going through near the inside, and a very slowly run race as you expect. And then 100 they come now, and Mentality crossed over onto the fence, and is the leader by a length and a half on Grey Stream, trying to keep Fillets in the pocket. Right behind them is Spinny. Phil Machino's about 3 or 4 off the lead, just starting to be slapped up now. And then came Rena's Lady, followed by Coalesce. Well back as they come up towards the turn was Camarilla, and Bank the Fortunes going up near the inside. They start to pack on the home turn now, and Mentality is just in front here of Fillets going up underneath it, and Fillets drew level with Mentality as they turn for home. Then we've got Grey Stream, Phil Machino coming down the outside, and Camarilla, but Fillets has dashed away at the 200, shook off Mentality, and then Camarilla and Bank the Fortune and Phil Machino, but is in here a purple patch of form. Fillets, he'll make it 3 straight, and he races away and wins by 2.5 lengths on Mentality. Camarilla got 3rd, Phil Machino 4th, and then Bank the Fortune followed in behind them next by Rena's.
John Hawkes getting the first 5 here with 7 runners in the field for this feature race here at Warwick Farm. Number 6, Fillets, home. He's a listed winner. He won the Hallmark last year, Fillets, and he had already won over $350,000 before today.
A couple of times, and then puts another one on in there with Grant Buckley over Mentality and Camarilla.
Mate, he's in super form. He's won 3 in a row now, of course. He, I think it was about 14 months.
No speed, that's for sure. And 61 kilos Mentality, he just pulled a little bit. It's a shame with Fiumicino because I think he's come back really, really well. It's a shame we won't see him in the Carnival in Queensland, in Melbourne.
I thought it was a great ride by Grant Buckley.
So let's have a look at how they currently stand. They changed yesterday, they'll change this week. Well, didn't they change yesterday, Shane? Zipping, didn't he catch the eye yesterday? He was $17 with a BetStar into 7. Blue Tigeroo firmed without racing. It's the Cox Plate. BetStar's market there, $3.65 each of 2. I'll put Miss Finland clearly on top there from El Segundo. We'll know more next week, $4.20. Arada Sun at $8. Zipping was 26 into 15. Blue Monday was
hard to beat any time.
Cup. Let's see what's happening with the Melbourne Cup market. And maybe Better stayed home. He's $9. Efficient stayed home. He's 10. Zipping 26 into 11. The mover here was Master O'Reilly 34 into 15. Miss Finland.
I reckon if you were in the Master O'Reilly camp and you'd taken the $40 or something a couple of weeks ago, you'd be very happy that you see it tightening into $15.
Minutes away from one of the mains here, the Group 2 over the 1600. Let's have a look at Super Tab betting. El Segundo 230 and Harada Sun 230. Okay, punters really evenly divided between these two stars of the turf, El Segundo and Harada Sun. They're 230 each of 2. In the ring, they're 260 each of 2. So bookies agreeing, they're just giving you a better price at 114%. 14.30. That's 4 points better than the bookies are doing. And Cinque Cento at 19.
Here on course R with El Segundo. Let's see who Roy Higgins is with. Roy.
Sorry, Bruce.
Yesterday, he's at the 2.9 now on course, Harada Sun. He's equal favourite at the tote with El Segundo at 2.3. El Segundo's activation situation, Shane, it's going to perhaps change the tempo of the race, because you would think perhaps if they press on, leads, Cinque Cento takes the set.
I reckon Harada Sun people would be wrapped in that.
Absolutely.
Just sit.
Signal racing. And Tip Palm Woody, one of the first away near the inside from Falstaff. There's Cinque Cento on the move, El Segundo and also Arada Son have begun okay. Activation pushing on towards the front, settling down. Activation coming around the outside. Takes it up from Cinque Cento. Further back then Arada Son. Tip Palm Woody is back inside. It a link for the back Falstaff. On the first turn, El Segundo's up running 6 now from Efficient and Maybe. The side, Activation putting on a good gallop, 2.5 in front. Cinque Cento is second, 3. Tip Palm Woody running third. Falstaff fourth, 2, then Arada Sun fifth. Right behind him on his tail is El Segundo. Then Efficient, further back Maybe Better. They've got a lot of ground to make up, these horses. 600 to go. Activation full ball by 3. Cinque Cento is sitting on his back. 4 lengths further back, Tip Palm Woody. Here's Arada Sun and El Segundo. They're winding up together. Out in the centre of the track now from Falstaff. But Cinque Cento's gone up to Activation on the turn. 5 lengths further back, Tip Palm Woody. El Segundo on the outside of Arada Sun. They've got a lot of ground to make up as Cinque Cento hit the front. Race 2 lengths in front, but El Segundo, Arada Sun are coming with their runs now. El Segundo, Arada Sun. They're going to get to Cinque Cento. El Segundo and Arada Sun. Stride for stride, Arada Sun, El Segundo. They hit it. All dead heat. Couldn't separate them. El Segundo, Arada Sun. Dead heat for mine. Third home, Cinque Cento, and Efficient has flown home out wide. Then Tick from Falstaff. But Cinque Cento's gone up to Activation on the turn. 5 lengths further back, Tick Pun Woody. El Segundo on the outside of Arada Sun. They've got a lot of ground to make up as Cinque Cento hit the front. Race 2 lengths in front, but El Segundo, Arada Sun are coming with their runs now. El Segundo, Arada Sun. They're going to get to Cinque Cento. El Segundo and Arada Sun. Stride for stride, Arada Sun, El Segundo. They hit it. All dead heat. Couldn't separate them. El Segundo, Arada Sun. Dead heat for mine. Third home, Cinque Cento, and Efficient has flown home out wide. Then Tick Pun Woody from Maybe Better finishing off. From Blue Tigeroo. Ladder to Manor Confectioner. Activation knocked up. And Falstaff is back at the tail. The judge will call for the photo.
And rightly so. Let's make the dead heat. What a great race. Arada Sun lifts. El Segundo lifts. You couldn't ask for more. This is what top-level racing is all about, Shane. They were both under pressure at the 600 when Cinque Cento went for home as Activation dropped off. They both found together, and they've got their heads in stride and on the line. I can't pick
El Segundo.
3 gets it.
El Segundo.
A millimetre. El Segundo for Luke Nolan. What a race. Fantastic.
You won't see any better than that. And thanks very much to Activation for actually making the race.
Well, here's the head-on, Shane. You can fight in a couple of weeks' time.
What a magnificent dress rehearsal. You just wouldn't see anything better than that. They ran them along fast up front. Activation leading. Cinque Cento second. Big gap to Tip and Woody. And then the 2 stars behind them.
Tippenwoody tried to get up to with Harada's son. Tony, he's the loser, but I don't think he'll be feeling that disappointed, Bruce.
Well, it's a millimetre in it, Tony, but you must have been proud of your horse nonetheless.
Yeah, look, it was a great race. It's one of those driving finishes that get people back to the races, isn't it? I mean, the only thing not so good, we didn't win, but look, he was in defeat. He was pretty courage, brave, and it's really shaping. It's one of those classic Cox plates coming up, isn't it?
You must be looking. What a race to be part of.
Yeah, great start for the spring. Neither horse disgraced. Gave them a big start, made their run together and nothing in it to the finish.
Probably going to be nothing in it towards the Cox plate, really, with these two.
No, it's probably right, but neither horse, well, it makes for a great spring, doesn't it?
Okay, what's his prep for the Cox plate?
The race was probably wasn't quite run to suit us. We had to come off the bridle a long way from home, and it just took a little away from his sprint. But the effort was very determined, and probably put the writing on the wall for the Cox plate.
Take us through it when you got eggs.
The dead heat. They deserved the dead heat. It went the way of El Segundo. It was just terrific, Steve, wasn't it?
Well, I think the connections of El Segundo would trade that photo for the one on the Cox plate last year. Extraordinary finish, great race, very genuinely run, of course, with activation leading through the first 1,000 metres in a minute dead, which is pretty quick. Amazingly enough, they went even. El Segundo, Harada's son, both outstanding. Cinquecento, Tippenwoody's solid, efficient, and maybe better. Very good. Yeah. End of story.
It was it was a great battle between the two horses. Of course, next week we'll see Marasco and Miss Finland, the other two, in the big play for the Cox plate. But I don't think, Steve, I ran to Cold Little last night, and I don't think you can definitively come out of that race and say, well, he'll beat that horse or that horse will win that. And they're all just good horses.
Certainly not, and I think common circumstances, but he continued to improve with every run through the autumn, Harada's son, and I think he'll be absolutely spot on come grand final day, Cox plate day. But there just isn't a great deal between these horses.
No, it'll be loaded up with him in the beaten jockeys.
The great, patient, staying trainers have to do, and I suppose Bart's the classic example, but maybe better, with Brian Mayfield-Smith. He's just ticking along perfectly, but you've got to keep pulling him out of the box, throwing him onto the float, taking him to the races, knowing he can't win. He's going to run a nice race, but, gee, he's going to win a race when it comes to the crunch. I think maybe better.
A bit after the start, and I was happy to follow him because he's going to give me a card into the race.
Sure. Did you put the shoulder into Harada's son there halfway down the straight?
No, there's only a small shoulder in there.
A small shoulder?
I tell you what, I reckon this will be a pretty good guide to the Cox plate, actually, because they ran it like it was a hard run race, and it's probably similar to more like a 2,000 metre race than a mile race, and I reckon that those two horses have levelled themselves out as proper contenders for the Cox plate. I know that race is being compared to the Bone Crusher, our Waverley Star race, and I reckon that's a fair comparison because I rate that Cox plate a Group 2. I reckon that's the most overrated Cox plate the world's ever seen. That. And
what about next week? You've got Miss Finland lining up again. Oh, it's going to be absolutely awesome, the Cox plate. Luke, looks like we're only going to have Melbourne horses for the Melbourne Cup this year. I think my first 4 numbers are already on the ticket.
Efficient?
Efficient, yes.
Maybe better. The horse of Danny O'Brien's, Master O'Reilly and Sermione.
No, you told me before, but I've got 2 of yours.
I've locked in. That's it.
I've locked in 2 of yours. I've got 2 of them. I'm not.
Well, what?
I find a bit dodgy.
What?
Oh, well,
you know. Your head in the chopping block. Come on.
It's Sermione and Master O'Reilly. Got to do more before I put him in.
All right.
He's done.
He's in the Manikato Stakes from Moonee Valley. Of course, all the talk is about Gold Edition Here the Angels, but a horse that was only a length behind.
Out as Bruce scurries back here. Here the Angels 4.10. There's been a move on him. They touched $4 in the ring. He's into 3.80. Undue. What a wonderful sprinter he's been. 7.80 Super Tab, about the same on track. And then we'll get over the page to see the favourite, Gold Edition, who was backed early but has eased back out to 3.30. She's short on Super Tab. They love her across the board, 2.50. And this is the Group Run race. It'll want to be pretty exciting to beat what we just saw in the Group 2.
How can they top that? Moving up here, Shane, best money's for Undue.
Now, he went in well, but then up to his old tricks again here, the Angels. He backed straight out.
660 is value for Undue, and there's Gold Edition 270. Well, that's unders. They're betting 330 and Universal.
Manikato. Gates are back and they're off. Mind your head, missed it about a length and a half. Gold Edition flew the gates towards the centre. Landed out in front, going quickly up on the inside of it now. It's Huss and Lightning here, the Angels just off those when they settle down. Gold Edition led. Universal Queen coming over quickly from Huss and Lightning on the fence here, the Angels. Dr. Nip and Tuck, Wonderful World, and Vermista last of all coming up the side. Gold Edition leads from on the outside. Universal Queen, Monet Rules, and Mind Your Head is off the track. A length further back here, the Angels got up on the inside of Huss and Lightning. Vermista deep around our Maharaja, followed by Undue, locked away. Dr. Nip and Tuck stands out into the Wonderful World. Gold Edition up to the turn, a half in front of Universal Queen. Monet Rules, a length further back here, the Angels, fourth in the turn. Trying to get a run through, then Mind Your Head and Vormister. Gold Edition, a length and a half in front. Here the Angels coming to the rail. Going after it, then Monet Rules, Universal Queen. Gold Edition in front. Kicks a length in front of Monet Rules. Vormister out wide. Is running on well, but still Gold Edition in front. Universal Queen, Vormister trying hard. The mighty little grey mare, Gold Edition. Gold Edition, a half length to Vormister. A photo third, Undue or out wide, Dr. Nip and Tuck. Then Monet Rules. Further back, Universal Queen stands out. Here the Angels didn't finish off from Wonderful World. Then came further back Huss and Lightning, our Maharaja, and Mind Your Head is last of all, Gold Edition.
She's back and she's a Group 1 winner again. And Starthy Gatsidis, welcome to Melbourne, Starthy. A Group 1 win, your first ride on Gold Edition. She was there to be beaten. Shane out in 34.5. They all had their chance. Absolutely no excuses.
What a sensational mare and sprinter she's been. She just continues to hold her form. She
ride the day, gets the win. He's staying in town. Why wouldn't you, Starthy? Well done.
First ride in Melbourne and you win a Group 1 race. That's some story, isn't it? And bubble burst today. And all honours with the winner. Vormister and Dr. Nip and Tuck will be winning races as soon as they get away from her. Neville Saunders is on track. He's talking with Bruce.
And waving to the crowd, and why not, Neville? Well, back to 1200 metres today, and she's back at her natural speed early.
Yeah, she's a free-running horse, and once I got just inside the 600, getting towards the 500, I let her slip along a little bit, and I was riding along hard, sort of coming past the 300, but that's how she likes to race.
She loves a...
Jewel out wide.
Wins $2.7 million.
Then Monet Rules, further back Universal.
16 wins, $2.7 million in stakes. She went out hard in 34.5, but they were all there to beat her, and they didn't. Great runs behind, fair enough. The Mister was fantastic, so too Dr. Nip and Tuck. But Steve Moran, you just got to look at the winner and say, well, she was simply too good.
Arguably a career best, I think. 34.5 Bruce, the first 600, clearly the quickest of the day. I mean, that's low-level flying from the standing start and watching that replay.
But you can't restrain her to the so she's going too slow, because she's got that higher cruising speed. If you slow her up too much, it's happened about 3 times in her career when she's tried to be restrained a little bit too much, and it's cost her races.
Was your first ride on her, Kato?
He's racing fantastic and a little bit a bit harder to beat.
Well, Universal Queen's done a tendon and is retired. Vormister, who ran well, had a wound to the off-fore cannon. Starthy, is this the horse?
Nice runs by second and third there.
Yeah, certainly, but take nothing away from the Bonnie mare.
She broke their hearts, didn't she?
She certainly did. Look, it's 1,200 metres. She's got that 1,200 metre speed to be a control freak, which we know that she is.
At 1,000 metres, she's vulnerable to something leading her.
Exactly.
And that's when she doesn't like it so much. But at 1,200 metres, she gets to the front and she gets an easy sectional somewhere in the middle, which I think she did. I tell you what, it's impossible to beat then.
Yeah, she obviously thrives in Melbourne as well. She'll probably, you know, the Flemington Carnival, we know she goes well down the straight and we know she's going well. She's just an iron mare and she's hard to beat in anything she can test. How good is this Adelaide mare down the outside here, Vormister? Only having her 7th start in a race. She drew 11, she covered ground, she did a bit of work and she finished off.
Only a length better than Dr. Nip and Tuck, who you bagged last week.
No, I like Dr. Nip and Tuck.
Ronnie,
no,
God's listening.
No, look, I had something on him last week at big odds. And
that's the Salinger. Could be a nice race for it, but 11 from 17 over the 1,200. She does get her chance to dictate Gold Edition. Absolute freak mare.
Darren Beedman on Harada Sun. Darren Beedman on Harada Sun. OK, the Moonee Valley Independent Cranes, I'm going to call it the stock stake. It sounds far more prestigious. And Devil Moon sensationally backed here. 5.10 on the tote. And it's in a 1.5 already. Maslin's Beach for Beedman, 5.90.
To 5.10 Maslin's Beach, well backed. 6.60 out to 6.80 Evil Web. 5.40 out to 6.10 Bellini Rose. They look to be the principal hopes. Of course, Devil Moon, we'll just check it on the tote now. Number 11. It's 4.30 into 3.80, the 11. Signal, good line too. Bromfelinity bounced away quickly with Maslin's Beach on the movers. Jacqueline Rouge, Hidden Strings and Empire Dancer. Kalashani Star pushing up on the inside. Evil Web is not far off them when they settle down, and Devil Moon is coming over fairly quickly when they settle. Cancanel's going back to last. As they settle to the first turn, Empire Dancer takes it up. On the outside going forward now, Jacqueline Rouge, further out Hidden Strings. Just off them, Kalashani Star fourth, Maslin's Beach is fifth. Then Bromfelinity inside Evil Web. Devil Moon is out 3 wide. Further back in the race there, second placing Hidden Strings, 2 to Colours, Oxygenata and Canal. The leader is Empire Dancer coming up at the 500. Hidden Strings has gone up to it on the outside. A link, Jacqueline Rouge. Devil Moon still continuing on. She's been wide, but she's going up with Hidden Strings. And they hit the front now from Zilzy getting out. Then Bromfelinity. Maslin's Beach is held up for a run. Danavade, Cancanella pull deep. Devil Moon up on the outside of Hidden Strings. They come away 2.5 in front of Zilzy. Bromfelinity now running on, and then came Cancanel. Devil Moon in front with about 100 metres to go, ducking down to the fence in front of Bromfelinity and Hidden Strings, and it's Devil Moon, a big win. Devil Moon a length and a half. Bromfelinity third. Hidden Strings, Cancanel grab fourth. From Zilzy, Bellini Rose, Maslin's Beats, Oxygenata, Danavade, Empire Dancer, a gap to Jacqueline Rouge. Then came Eva Webb back second to last, and Kalashani Star is last of all.
Well, she could start from barrier 34 and win a race. That's extraordinary. Drew wide, didn't press forward today, so sat 3 and 4 wide, and still had the temerity to run away. Well done, Michael. Well done, horse. Michael just had the ride. That's an extraordinary performance. She's a live Caulfield Cup chance, this horse, Shane.
She'd be a chance in anything after that. I mean...
Oh, thank goodness she got home, girl. Otherwise I was in for a bollocking here.
But on all those figures, what we're saying is she would have been right there with her Rada son and El Segundo.
You're right, I just care about the result.
Well, he didn't care how he rode it, he got the result.
He didn't care how he rode it either, obviously, but she's pretty tough, and we really didn't want to lead this week. We thought they'd be looking for us a bit, so we'll runs now, probably 3, so we'll wait and see.
I've seen some great performances.
And there's your winning place across the board. 13,000.
Well, I've seen it again, and I still don't believe it again. No wonder Michael Rod gave it a pat down the shoulder, shook his head going, did that happen? It did. Amazing, Steve.
Two of the most extraordinary wins you'd ever see in 7 days apart, of course. Last week she crossed from 18 to lead. Yesterday sat wide. They ran 59-1 the first 1,000, which was virtually a second quicker than the Weight for Age race, where they were running along. Overall time only 0.2 slower, 0.2 slower than Weight for Age race.
And just watch Michael there. Pat down the shoulder, and then... Well, he does.
50 kilos in the Caulfield Cup. Could she do an Arctic scent? Well, in 1996 won this race.
Number 40 on the order of entry, but I reckon she'll get in based off those above. Here he goes, Michael.
Throughout. She's obviously one that's just slipped the system. You know, look, when you go back through her form, she's won 7 from 15. You know, she put a string of wins together in Adelaide and was only beaten in the Oaks behind Anamato. And, you know, she's just too good.
Michael Robb was giving her a pat there.
Second Gold Cup victory. He was in action overnight with the stablemate Scorpion at the Curragh for the Irish St Ledger. Amazingly, a race never won by Aidan O'Brien, never won by Kieran Fallon, and never won by Yates. He'd been 4th and 2nd in the previous 2 runnings. He was off as the 4th. He'd been 4th and 2nd in the previous 2 runnings. He was off as the 4-7 favourite here at the Curragh overnight. And here's Yates. Tough work.
Travel as they reach the home turn, and Scorpion is the first to kick for home. Goes a length and a half in front of McCorville. Out deeper on the track then is Yates, called on for an effort from Moores Wells, the orange cap, the inside. Well back then is Mighty, who's still sticking on fairly well, but Scorpion the one to catch as they race up with inside the 2 now. Scorpion's got about 3 in front. Yates is trying hard, but now runs in behind. Further back then is Moores Wells, and they're clear of McCorville and Mighty. Racing up inside the furlong, there's 2 stablemates. It's Scorpion the far side. Near side is Yates. Only a neck separates them. Yates, the dual Ascot Gold Cup winner, wearing down the Scorpion, his stablemate, and Yates gets up for a famous win. Scorpion is second. Third then is Moores Wells.
Jim McGrath calling it a famous win there. Well, it was, because it was the first time he'd won that race. Yates beating Scorpion 4-7 versus 7-2. They gapped them. Others in the race. Well, Bella McKee for Dermot Weld. He just totally over-raced. Dermot Weld hasn't given up on him. The Melbourne Cup and the Sandown Classic. Steve, there's your first look at Yates winning overnight. What do you think?
Singularly unimpressed.
The runner-up is very good.
Yeah, they were both rolling about in the closing part of the race, weren't they? They were both tired. I don't think Yates has got enough turn of foot to win a Melbourne Cup in Australia. I think he's 2-1 paced.
I spoke to Greg Carpenter. He's got 59 already, the same weight he had last year. Of course, Greg's quote at the release of the weights has said, I don't think he's going any better this year. I don't think he's going any worse. Well, he's unbeaten this year. He's won 4 and another Group 1 there.
Obviously, the premier track in Ireland.
Now for this year's Caulfield Cup.
You always save my favourite segment to last.
But you were disappointed yesterday, I know, when your horse that you've got 250 to 1 each way about, trick here in Victoria. Tell me what's wrong with that line-up there, Steve.
Very little, Bruce. You can have $8 Harada Sun. That looks generous, doesn't it? $21 zipping if you happen to be a fan. And that's, you know, we've skipped over the favourites there, but...
All full of intrigue because we don't know who's coming and who's not and who's here. Efficient, ticking over very nicely, maybe better at $9, ticking over nicely. Well, Master O'Reilly, Steve, were all impressed last week there at Flemington.
No, that's too tight, that market. You got to.
Felvalon's Dream at odds. Simplest a bit fractious, just about ready. A field of 11. Inquisition to come forward. Line good, gates are back and they're off this time. Weekend Hustler bounced very quickly with Sir Walter. Shades of Julie just drifting back. Story. Then came Rafaela, followed Barada and Inquisition last of all. Sir Walter going up to Weekend Hustler, and right there with them third is Hard War. 3 lengths further back than Simplest fourth. Fifth Shades of Stream, the inside Supreme Story. Real battle for the front at the moment. 3 lengths Rafaela. 2 to Rada, run off its legs. 12 off the lead. 4 to Inquisition last of all. Hard War pressing on the outside Sir Walter, and Weekend Hustler held the fence. They're going to straighten about 3 lengths to Simplest, watching it unfold in front. Then Shades of Julie further back. Brom Felvalon's Dream in the straight. Weekend Hustler again got the lead. Simplest about to come from behind them. Hard War under pressure in the middle. Sir Walter drops out. Then Felvalon's Dream. Brom Rada not in the race. It's Weekend Hustler with a kick. Got 2 lengths to Simplest, who's flat out now, and Weekend Hustler sprinting away. Hey, this is a smart horse. It's opened up 4-5 lengths in front of Simplest, and then Rafaela. Weekend Hustler, a brilliant win. Weekend Hustler canters home about 7 lengths. Simplest second, a length third Rafaela. Then came Shades of Julie, Supreme Story. Rada didn't come into it from Hard War. Inquisition, Brom, Felvalon's Dream, Sir Walter, and I think we've seen a bit of a star.
No doubt about that, Brian, because they've gone within 3 100ths of the track record held by Spelling. The class record's totally smashed here. Weekend Hustler diggerised in front and then said, out you go, boys, I'm too good for you, and just ran away from them. Wins by a big margin. Punters knew 270 it went up. They touched 280 into 240, 260. If there's a better win today, Shane, I'll be pleased to see it.
What sort of a horse is that? Simplest ambled up to them halfway down the straight, and you seriously would have mortgaged your house at that stage to jump aboard Simplest. No sooner as he got there, Brad Rowella said, "Let's go, boy," and Weekend Hustler went, and did he go? That is a stunning victory. There's Ross.
All right, Roscoe. I reckon Ross was here because he knew this horse was going to win, Ross. That was thoroughly impressive.
Number 5, Weekend Hustler for Brad Rowella, saying it was like a trial. Ross McDonald.
Wednesday there were trainers running around Sandown talking, and not just Ross McDonald, talking in glowing terms of the next Group 1 star of Australian racing, and that was it, Weekend Hustler.
Well, no surprise, fast overall time to boot, which I always love, near track record time. Gassed in the early part of the race and then just won contemptuously. Thrashed a horse called Simplest. I think Simplest at its last start had beaten a horse called Fura Cheval, who Peter Moody threw into the deep end in the Guineas Prelude yesterday and certainly wasn't disgraced. Didn't finish that far behind them, so the form stacks up pretty well for Weekend Hustler.
Spoke to Ross.
Good horse, I suppose. Good horse. I suppose we've only seen him do it the once, but it looked the real deal.
No doubt, and that's what Brad called it, the real deal. Back to Caulfield.
It's no secret. Look at this.
So they attacked it, didn't they? They attacked it for the lead early?
They attacked it early in the race. There's 2 or 3 leads. Weekend Hustler.
Weekend Hustler.
Alf, you would have saw it.
He's just
unbelievable effort, Alf.
Ross McDonald and Brad Rowella there in the saddle, is it?
Yeah, look, and I think the thing that you had to like about it is the simple fact that it was put under a fair bit of pressure in the early stages. Although not going all that hard, it was still annoyed for a long period of time. And the horses that raced outside of it, and 3 deep, they just, as somebody made a comment during the week, they ran out of oxygen and finished back last. But the thing about it, Simplest ran very, very well, covered a lot of ground at Ballarat in winning, and it had every conceivable chance to do something and still got beaten about 9 lengths.
Weekend
very good.
Hustler.
Must get a good horse too. Again, yep. The immediate future of the New South Wales racing industry, as we know, is in extreme doubt after what happened on yesterday. Yesterday's news that the dreadful equine influenza
win in 4 years. And the reason being, of course, yesterday we woke to the shock news that the Rosehall program meeting of 12 races was a victim of another EI outbreak, this time at Warwick Farm. Let's go to Richie.
We'll have to leave it there. They're almost ready for the Stony Bridge at Hastings.
To come up to the inside gate. Phillips to the top of his stand. They're about to race in the Stony Bridge. 1,600 metres, 250,000 Group 1, and they're off. Princess Cope a little sideways at the start. Splashing out went back. Surslick went forward. Sea Change went forward. Jury's Out's on the move. Jardine, the Puka. Just after the 800 metres as the Stony Bridge run down the side. Surslick turning it up a little in the lead. Gay's second. She is travelling beautifully. Sea Change third, getting the gun run. 600 metres to go. Jury's Out, Ombre Rose the next to the Puka. Puratini, German Railings. Jardine, Princess Cope, Veloce Bella behind them. Cog Hill's about to go. And then spin around, and the last is splashing out as they're on the circle. Surslick goes for home. Gay's trying to hold Sea Change in a pocket, but she's going too well. Jury's Out on the outside. Surslick in front. Sea Change is coming out and after him. Surslick on the inside. She ranged up Sea Change over on the outside. He's fighting Surslick. Sea Change in front, shooting for her fifth Group 1. She'll put the 2 legs of the Triple Crown away with ease. Sea Change, Surslick, Princess Cope flew. She's grabbed third in front of the Puka, and then we had Ombre Rose, Railings all running on. Gaze behind these runners. Jardine, Veloce, Bella, Cog Hill, Jury's Out, splashing around was the next further back.
Again for Ralph Manning, one to go.
What a mare.
One to go. She's a good mare.
Yeah, she's
Good
great.
mare.
One to go, the Celt Capital, and that's the Triple Crown. So here she is. She sat beautifully just behind the
How
leader
far's
there.
the Celt? 2,000?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just watch for the horse flashing out here wide. Third,
Oh,
Princess Coop for Mark Walker.
Very good.
It's Caulfield Cup bound. And Mark, yes, Mark Walker told me this morning that they'll run in the Kelp.
Yeah.
And if everything continues to go well and they can travel horses in, it'll be in the Caulfield Cup.
Okay, now this is...
The old fillies, this is the 1,000 Guineas, a prelude, and I can tell you that there are equal favourites here on course. Tantat Delago, that started off as a favourite, is now equal favourites with Chinchilla Rose, but what a great race this is.
Yeah, certainly promised to be, and it's in double figure odds. You can see there on the second page is 10 Gibraltar Campion, $7 number 5 Tantat Delago.
Up the top there too, number 1 Forensics, just getting a spec a little bit. Just a couple of points she's firmed.
You would, and that's probably a little harsh at this stage, given that we haven't seen quite a few of those horses, New South Wales trained horses, emerging from the Sydney Autumn Feature 2-year-old races to Frank.
Scratching here from the fillies prelude. They're all set and they're off this time. Gabardon a little bit slow to get going. Rose Ceremony and Gibraltar Campion bounce quickly. There's Sleek Chassis on the move, whipping around the outside. And Chinchilla Rose is coming over, is also nice and prominent with Tantat Delago. Now, the leader, Sleek Chassis from Tantat Delago, Gibraltar Campion up third. Chinchilla Rose up fourth, but out 3 deep. In the centre there, Vol up the side. Sleek Chassis backs the speed. 3/4 of a length in front of Tantat Delago. Gibraltar Campion gets a good run third over on the inside of Rose Ceremony. And Chinchilla Rose is post to the grey filly out 3 deep. Then came Fire Vein around Beaming Bella. Bantry Bay further back. They're followed by Gabardon. Then came Jester Tune. Forensics is on the move from Perfect Persuasion. Last of all, Class Prevails. Sleek Chassis to the turn from Tantat Delago. Then the grey Chinchilla Rose. She's been out 3 deep. Followed by Gibraltar Campion, Rose Ceremony. Turning in. Sleek Chassis kicked 2 lengths in front. Gibraltar Campion getting out. Tantat Delago under pressure. Then Chinchilla Rose, Rose Ceremony. Gabardon the middle and down the outside. Jester Tune. It's Sleek Chassis in front. On the outside, Gabardon. And then further out is Jester Tune. Gabardon. It was slow to get going. Takes the lead from Jester Tune. And Gabardon, a big effort. Gabardon a length and a half to Jester Tune. Sleek Chassis third. Tantat Delago is fourth. Then Beaming Bella, Perfect Persuasion out wider from Rose Ceremony. Good. Has covered plenty of ground from Fire Vein further back, and Forensics out of form back near the tail.
Good pick-up ride there for Starthy Katsitas on Gabardon, getting there in the 1,000 Guineas prelude over number 4 Jester Tune, the Perth Visitants. Number 9 at Gabardon for Starthy Katsitas and Gary Cannawell. $33.70 and $8 the place for Jester Tune, $2.50 for
Riding. Jester Tune, very good. Sleek Chassis, better there. 25-1. You couldn't believe it coming off a win before that. And those that finished behind her yesterday, Steve, I would think would struggle to beat her. on face value in the 1,000 guineas.
On face value, yes. Miss Finland last.
But on into $6.50 off $34. Gestatune, another short. And of those who lost. Chinchilla Rose, Tantat Delago. Perfect Persuasion.
Second was Gestatune and Slick Shazzy third, Alf.
Yeah, second best ride of the day by Starthy Katsitas on Gabardon. Gestatune, another WA horse, comes over quite good. And, yeah, look, outside of that...
Good form, continues to improve. I'm quite happy to say she's the best filly up to a mile in Victoria at the moment, unless something arrives from South Australia or New Zealand or wherever they can come from. I'm quite happy to say she's about the best around at the moment. What do you think, Ronnie?
Yeah, look, I'm inclined to agree. She was quite dominant there. She got held up at the top of the...
Australia too. 9 minutes away from start time. This is one of the features here today. The Group 3 Caulfield Guineas, a prelude over 1,400 metres, and some potential stallions going around here. Some magnificent looking colts.
Same.
At the moment, Marching is the favourite from the John Hawke stable. At the moment, on the tote on Super Tab, it's $4.90. You can take a half point from that now on course, firming in those 40 cents here. Most of these others just drifting a fraction. Marching just drifting another 20 cents here in late betting.
It's the support on track for number 2, Scenic Blast.
They're racing.
Track for number 2, Scenic Blast.
They're racing. And Purillis jumped out very quickly down on the inside, going with it, marching after the start. And further out on the track is Scenic Blast, showing some speed and pushing forward now. MJ Hussey up towards the lead. Ali Tart's with those. MJ Hussey just had it. Go last of all. MJ Hussey at the 850, a half in front of Shrewd Rhythm second. 2 further back is Marching third from Ali Tart, a length and a half to Scenic Blast. Chevelle, Diplomatic Force, Morgan Dollar, 2 lengths on the warpath. And Toodle Tourier last of all. MJ Hussey the leader. Scenic Blast is on the move around the outside. Shrewd Rhythm's right there outside the lead as they turn in. Shrewd Rhythm laying it down to MJ Hussey. They drifted off the fence. Marching got the run. Scenic Blast further out from Nine Tails. Then Ali Tart and Grand Sasso, and back to the inside Purilist. But Marching hit the front now from Shrewd Rhythm. Purilist over on the inside. Then Scenic Blast and Grand Sasso. It's Marching, Purilist on the inside. Purilist Marching followed by Shrewd Rhythm. Purilist coming home better, and Purilist gets up to win. Ahead on the line to Marching. Third home Shrewd Rhythm. On the warpath is rattled home to run fourth. Then Nine Tails, Flourish Chevelle, Latorio, followed by MJ Hussey. Further back in the race, Diplomatic Force. Scenic Blast knocked up from Grand Sasso.
Good race, Purilist. He's won the Caulfield Guineas Prelude here. Just coming up on the there on the turn, but Purilist, he's a beautiful looking horse. He's a half brother to Racing to Win, and he was the colours of Tony Santic. Beautiful looking chestnut collar.
There for Huey Bowman. It's been a long time since he's done that at Caulfield. 4 years, in fact, since he won on the day that Exceeding Excel won the Sir Rupert Clark Stakes, as it was then. Purilist, Hugh Bowman, Danny O'Brien in famous colours there for Tony Santic. Michaels. Are they going to have to be much better, though, Steve, to beat Weekend Hustler?
I think so. Probably Weekend Hustler and maybe Murder Jill now after his run yesterday. Hard to get a handle on this race, and it's all Vlad's fault, because he went to the front on MJ Hussey and stacked them up. You got away with a pretty soft first 800, so none of these...
Caulfield Guineas, Wonderful World, won the race last year, the prelude at 25-1, and won the Guineas. Purilist into 550, Weekend Hustler, who we know we'll see next Sunday, after that brilliant win on Wednesday, into 350. On the warpath, one we didn't mention there, Steve, we should have.
The winner. Big feature race of the day is coming up, the Underwood Stakes, the Group 1 over 1,800 metres. And just having a chat with John Massara and his wife Chris and Alan Jones, all the crew here for Miss Finland, and I'm sure that they're getting very...
Today she clashes with the mighty Western Australian galloper, Marasco, and we're really looking forward to this.
And at the moment...
Finland easy.
Yeah, Marasco firming in around about 20 cents here in late betting. Certainly, as you said, he's the one that is firming. Miss Finland, she's now about 5 cents past even money here. So she's between Marasco and Miss Finland. She's still the on-course favourite, but he's the one that they're going for on course.
He did look.
The line is good. Set, they're off and running. Torquay ambled out of the gates. Road Worker began okay with Dane Empire and a Cough. Miss Finland just behind them. King of Ashford pushing up. Eskimo Queen just off them, settling down, and Ruby Scent coming over. Marasco back on the inside, settling down from Maslam's Beach. Further back, Mastercraft, Blue Tigeroo may be better. Torquay last of all. Up the back they go by 2 to Ruby Scent. A length further back, Road Worker third. Fourth as Anakoff went off the fence. 2 to King of Ashford. 2 lengths further back, Miss Finland. She's now out 3 deep. Back in the middle, Marasco. Getting up on the inside, may be better. So they've got the favourite out 3 wide. 2 lengths further back that Eskimo Queen on the inside of Maslam's Beach. 3 to Blue Tigeroo and Torquay back near the tail with Mastercraft. 6.50 out. And Dane Empire's 2.5 to Ruby Scent. 2 further back in the race. Anakov. Roadwork of the Grey the inside. 2 to King of Ashford 5th. Miss Finland's gone up 6 now, followed by Marasco. Back in the middle on the inside may be better. He's niggling at Miss Finland now. Further back Maslam's Beach and 2 lengths to Eskimo Queen tacking on. Around the turn they come now. And it's Dane Empire grabbed by Ruby Scent and further out Anakov. Roadworker to the fence. Then Marasco. Miss Finland down the outside. Eskimo Queen got knocked over and King of Ashford out wider on the track, but Ruby Scent down on the inside is 3 lengths in front. Marasco into the clear with Miss Finland. They're coming late now. Ruby Scent by 2. Can Miss Finland make up the ground? I don't think she can. Goodness gracious me. Ruby Scent's won the Underwood. Second home Miss Finland. Third Marasco. That Eskimo Queen no luck. Followed by Maybe Better. I don't believe this. Then further back in the race Anakov, Blue Tigeroo, Maslam's Beach, Roadworker, Dane Empire, King of Ashford, Torquay. It might be a lot of other days back with Mastercraft.
Well, Ruby Scent round about 50 to 1 getting up. Dan Nikolic riding a Group 1 winner here in the Underwood. Miss Finland, she...
About that, and I wanted to run him so that we may run second or third and get some weight to run in the Turek. But I don't know, it's just one of... Well, I'm mood, eh? It's just one of those... right time, right place for a nice horse. I obviously haven't got him in any of the big races, but I don't know what happened to the champs, but the chumps got the money.
Well, he's been a revelation, this preparation, assessing him. If I'd asked you before the race, the punters have something on him, what would you have said?
I'm quite disappointed that I didn't back him myself, because anything with a bit of odds I always make sure I'm on. But I would have said he's the only horse in the picket fence form, and hopefully I can run a drum. That's what I would have said.
You've won.
And hopefully I can run a drum.
You know, today he sort of lobbed outside the leader and did a little bit of work, and then I sort of set him alight knowing he's a fit horse, and he toughed it out really well.
So wait for Adrian.
The winner, Style of March, best run of the race for mine, Eskimo Queen.
Craig Newitt.
Unlucky. $54.60 if you backed Ruby Scent, and $7.20. $1.20 Miss Finland, $1.20 Marasco, Quinella.
Played by Maybe Better. I don't believe this.
Okay, Ruby Scent, 50 to 1. Well done to Dan Nikolic, his 4th win in the race. Mick Price, well, with right place, right time, as Mick said. More on that shortly. Miss Finland, fantastic, I thought. Hit a flat spot and hit Marasco 3 times about the 800-metre mark. More on that shortly. And Marasco, well, big query heading towards a Cox Plate for mine, Steve, off that. We'll go to the Turnbull for sure. Needs a new jockey. But let's give credit to Mick Price and Dan Nikolic first.
Well, good tactics. The pace was only steady at best, and they backed off. I think at the end of the day, you could fairly ask, as a few irate punters did, that maybe Darren Beedman and Craig Williams just should have got going sooner than they did. Ruby Scent trailed the leader when Dane Empire had had enough. Danny Nikolic was able to steal a break off a pace that hadn't exacted his horse. Kick 4 in front, end of story. They weren't physically going to be able to pick him up. Eskimo Queen, as we've touched on, she was terrific. She lost her momentum twice in the race, once at about the 1200, again at the top of the straight. I think with clear running, despite the margin Ruby Scent had, that Eskimo Queen probably would have won the race.
Well, Ruby Scent also goes to the Toorak handicap. Vladdy's probably the sort of horses. Darren Beedman was notified that whilst he was entitled to hold his ground, he is not entitled to take horses off their course when endeavouring to do so. He was severely reprimanded for
in the week, and Froggy thought the horse would be very competitive, and I went down and worked him, and he felt good, but, you know, who's to say he could beat horses like Marasco and Miss Finland?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was just one of those races where it was perhaps just a little bit unfortunate for Miss Finland. Look, Craig couldn't have done any more. He was just unfortunate. He was caught 3 deep, midfield. Marasco put a bit of pressure on him to hold him out 3 deep. And I suppose, look, when you wind it all up, she was simply unfortunate. She hit a little bit of a flat spot, very, very strong on the line.
Yeah.
I think you've got to accept the fact didn't really appreciate being pushed around either.
How strong on the line was she? Well, she was going up and down the one spot tomorrow. She wasn't.
Who?
The Miss Finland. She wasn't attacking the line. Look,
come on.
This horse had done all the work outside the lead.
He was away.
He
was
hit the
away.
flat spot here.
Danny was away on this, and he'd pinched the race by now. She's done a great job.
She's entitled to sort of really attack the line, as we know she can.
Marasco was the disappointing one for mine.
I
was disappointed.
she's looking for
She
further.
went okay.
What, you reckon she's not attacking the line
She's
there?
second up 1,800
I want to
metres.
ask Danny. Danny, was there a point in that race where you or the field accelerated quickly to get some horses flat-footed?
Yeah, for sure, Richard. I think Gouch on the leader sort of wanted to go on at the half mile and he was a bit one pace, but I sort of sat on him pretty comfortable. But when I actually asked my horse to let down, he sprinted really quickly and I was able to sort of put 2 lengths on them, and I was running good sectionals at the time, so I think Miss Finland ran very good.
It was actually the 600 to the 400 where the tempo backed off nearly a half a second.
I just think she's looking for further.
Oh, look, she obviously
Really
is.
is.
Look, she's obviously a very good mare, but we're getting carried away with our good horses.
They're not a stellar lot. There you go, I'll say it. They're not a stellar lot.
You can't say that about Miss Finland.
I've said it consistently this spring.
About Miss Finland?
About the whole group of weight for age horses. They're not a stellar lot, but they're the best we have.
I agree.
And
what's going to beat it in the Cox Plate?
Well, run-of-the-race stuff like happened there.
Miss Finland's not stellar?
She's very good.
Oh, she's
but,
stellar.
but it's not a stellar bunch.
She's not dominant.
Yeah. Anyhow, what about Eskimo
Queen was sensational there. She's a deserved Caulfield Cup favourite, surely, after that weight for age run, you know. And of the others, Blue Tigeroo, he's ticking along. Maybe Better's coming along nicely for the Melbourne Cup. Cox Plate. I'm not doubting she's a champion mare, but she's not dominant.
I don't know what
the best of them. She's the best of the mares.
Yeah, she's the best of them. Yeah. The lot.
She is as good a filly and mare we've seen in the last 20 years.
Well, she's got to win the Cox Plate then.
She will.
OK, we'll see. Time will tell.
Good to be back.
Let's have a look at the early totes here. We are 14 minutes away from start time for the other Group 1 of the afternoon. This is the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, and I can tell you that it's a pretty open sort of betting race at the moment. $7.60 you can see there for Undue. It's about 1.5 points or almost 2 points longer than that on course. Further down, half point, but it is still pretty early in the betting. And further down you can see the favourite number 9, Bonhoeffer for Wendy Kelly, going for 3 in a row here. Wendy Kelly's first Group 1, $4.40, down $8.10.
Certainly is typical of a Group 1 handicap, of course.
At the moment on the tote, and it's only 10 cents longer than that on course, so all the money coming for Bonhoeffer, the market mover here before the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes. We're a minute past start time. They're just starting to load the rest of these runners into the gates. Let's go.
Great field for the Sir Rupert Clarke, and the gates spring back and they're off and running, and Divine Madonna went straight back after the start. One of the first out here, the Angels bounced out in front. Wonderful World prominent today, and further out Monet Rules in company with Seafarer. From the outside, Murder Jill is pushing on up towards the lead. When they settle into stride here, the Angels now led from on the outside of it. Murder Jill up outside it, 2 lengths, 9th. 2 lengths behind it, Blarnick from Nicanero. Then further back in the race, Undue. OK, the inside at the Oasis from Anamato and Divine Madonna. The mares both back at the tail, coming up with the 700 metre mark. Here the Angels from Murder Jill. Joker's Wild 3 deep. Over on the inside, Wonderful World is now 4th. Monet Rules back in the middle, 5th. Then Saspy, Dr. Nip and Tuck. Seafarer in the middle from Orange County. Further back, Bonhoeffer on the move, followed by Bird Dancer. Nicanero, Blarnick well back at the Oasis, followed by Undue. OK, widest runner is Anamato, back there with Divine Madonna. But here the Angels with a kick at the 300 race, 2 lengths to Murder Jill, followed by Wonderful World. Further back then, Monet Rules, Bird Dancer to the fence. Bonhoeffer coming down the outside. Here the Angels in front of Wonderful World. Bonhoeffer flying. He's going to get up the favourite up on the fence, Wonderful World, but Bonhoeffer beats Nicanero, who flashed up second. Third home, Wonderful World from Murder Jill. Dr. Nip and Tuck followed further back by Monet Rules. Divine Madonna further out with Anamato. Just behind those would have been Seafarer. Here the Angels carved up. OK from at the Oasis. Blarney Anamato pulling up quickly with Joker's Well, Saspy, Undue and Orange County.
I think we're going to see some great scenes here at Caulfield. Bonhoeffer 3 in a row, giving Wendy Kelly her first Group 1 victory and doing it very easily to the line. In the
Bring it to a Group 1, her first Group 1 runner, let alone winner, as we want.
Reef. Wendy Kelly's with Bruce Clark.
Not yet, she's waiting up the front there. Have a look at
support from the crowd here today. Very, very popular. He did it! He did it!
Never any doubt, was there?
No.
What a great thrill for all. I mean, it's very emotional for you and for Vlad, and the horse has just taken it to another level this time, man.
He has. He's just a sensational horse. I'm sorry. No.
For you to be part of this too.
Oh, for sure. It's been a long process to get this horse to this stage, and it's a real credit to Kevin and Wendy especially for. Worried about was getting bottled up, so I made sure I come out and found plenty of room, and he did the rest and won well.
And as a protest second against first, near the 200 metre mark, are you aware of anything happening there?
Absolutely no idea what's going on there, so I'll have to have a look.
You sound pretty confident. Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, Nicanero has the pink and the blue colours. At this stage, he's just sort of behind him, switching across. Now, there you can see Bonhoeffer come in. Nicanero, he does cross across his path. You see Nicanero, and he just shifts out to the outside and hits the line very strong.
Dr. Nippon Tuck follows.
Yeah, brilliant performance by Bonhoeffer, Vlad Jurek and Wendy Kelly, and beating Nicanero. More on that shortly. Wonderful World was excellent. Divine Madonna was fantastic. Vlad, you watch it again there?
Just, you know, it's just, as I always say, it is such a team effort where we are. It's the guys that ride the horses in the morning. It's Vlad that does the job at the end of the day.
Adversaries there. David giving you some solace. Don't worry, I've won 150 Group 1s. I'll try and get this one off you. And Brad, what was he saying to you, Vlad?
Brad was obviously disappointed, but we're good mates, and you go out there and try and win a big race even afterwards in the steward's room. But
it doesn't add up for mine when you're 200 metre mark, a length and a quarter behind. You get on heels for 3 strides, and then you're 2 lengths behind it. You get it back to 3/4 of lengths. To me, the maths doesn't add up. I was, for mine, still building up my momentum, and thought I had the race won. And you know, you have that happen in a Group 1. It's quite frustrating, but it's good to know the horse is in great form. He's going well, and looking forward to probably the Toorak will be his main goal now. I was very happy with the race.
Beat Reggae there. Clearly, Murtajul was terrific on speed.
Yeah, very good performance, really. They ran 47.2 for the first 800, which is pretty quick from the standing start. So he was working on the speed all the way. Here the Angels put 3 lengths on him. You would have thought he'd run 10th at that point. Toughed it out really well. I thought aside from that, honours with first and second, creditable effort, Murtajul, very good Divine Madonna, conceded an impossible start home in 33.7, which was the quickest of the race, no surprise, and Flemington's really her track.
Mare's absolutely outstanding, back in the field, no luck, Divine Madonna, and also David Hayes' horse.
Anamato. Yeah, she wasn't a bad run, looking for longer, of course. But I have to say, Nicanero, if there's a chink in his armour, and he's got a few, it's that Bonhoeffer was going past him here, like going past him pretty quickly when he rolled in and took the run that Nicanero was looking for.
Steam, though.
I know he was, but that's Nicanero's chink in his armour, is that sometimes the gap has just gone a little quicker than he has. And that's probably why he hasn't won more races at the top level. He's very honest, he keeps trying, and he's going to win good races, but Bonhoeffer's just got that class edge, and of course had a 3.5 kilo weight pull on him as well.
Now look, I thought there was
the naturalism here, as Steve said. Maldivian is the favourite. You can see $2.60 there on Super Tab, and on course that's exactly what you're getting. 8 at the moment is 24.10, about 4 points shorter on course. 14 Blessed, $8.50, take 1.5 points from that.
Changes here on Maldivian, the Cox Plate market. This is from Betstar. Miss Finland 370 into 3.
The mile races.
Big move, the 1,000 guineas. Gabardon, the winner of the day, $34 and a $5.50 favourite. So it's in. Perfect persuasion.
Again, off and running. Yes, he got away okay, Maldivian. Near the inside, Zavit, Metron, Jeu, Dolphin Joe began quickly. Blessed is handy with Shyak, and further out Maldivian heading up towards the front. Coming over with it is Expunge, and on the outside Sermione. Now Blessed took it up from Metron Jeu. Maldivian goes up third, fourth is Shyak. Sermione deep around Expunge. Dolphin Joe. Maldivian outside it. Giro Valley hasn't got on the track from Shyak. They're followed by the Fuzz creeping up on the inside of Black Tom. Utility deep. Savit back in the middle. Further back then Senex Shot. Then Red Lord, Temple Hills, and Tuta Shuali at the 650 metre mark. Blessed from Expunge. Sermione, Maldivian and the lime colours on the move around the outside. A link further back, Giro Valley. Then came Metron Jeu, Dolphin Joe, Shyak. The Fuzz got shuffled back. Senex Shot is taking off around the outside, coming to the turn, and Maldivian out in the centre, hit the front. Giro Valley after it. Then further back, Blessed is only struggling, followed by Senex Shot. Maldivian at the 300 drew a length and a half in front of Giro Valley on the outside. They've come away now from Dolphin Joe. Maldivian, Giro Valley coming at him, then Dolphin Joe. It's Maldivian, Giro Valley stride for stride. Maldivian on the inside, and Giro Valley, they hit the line. Giro Valley a nose, I'd say, to Maldivian. Third home Dolphin Joe, then Red Lord and the Fuzz had no luck from Black Tom. Then Senex Shot, further back then came Shuali, followed by Utility. Behind those Expunge, Shyak, Temple Hills, further back Savit. Bless knocked up, well back Sermione, and Metron Jeu is last of all.
Duro Valley there for Dan O'Brien, getting up, just holding.
Kilos in the Caulfield Cup, this winner, Duro Valley. Now, he did sit wide. He looked to be wide without cover and working mid-race. Maldivian here at Caulfield. Good performance from the winner, 50.5 in the Caulfield Cup. And I know that Danny O'Brien's pretty bullish about his Caulfield Cup prospects.
Is with Dan.
Okay. Yes, Danny, we're walking towards us. We're not going to wait. Maybe 6 with Black Tom getting the 6th. All live chances in the Cups. Duro Valley, Maldivian, Dolphin Joe, Red Lord, The Fuzz, and Black Tom all ran well. But Duro Valley, well, the more you watch it, the more you say, well, the toughest run still won.
It's certainly the case. He was sitting 3 or 4 deep and with no cover at various points of the race. Terrific performance, outstanding win. Danny O'Brien keeps telling everyone he's a Caulfield Cup standard horse, and it looks that way now. Maldivian, 3rd up, 2,000. I suspect there's a little improvement with him. We might see this.
Indeed, and as too, but it was a fantastic performance.
Really, Alpha, they don't look like the A graders for the Caulfield Cup. Maldivian,
no, that's what worries me.
Maldivian was Caulfield Cup favourite before yesterday. Do you think he deserves that spot in the market?
No.
Well, who should be?
Eskimo Queen.
Okay. All right.
Last ride there with Marla in the Cups. There's here, and I'm sure they are with Eskimo Queen. The market's from Betstar. Eskimo Queen at $8, maybe better at 10. Efficient. Well, I'll be holding the money there, 11. I think Blue Tiger is still going well, 13. Master O'Reilly needs to he's qualified. He needs to get up the order of entry at 13. Few there that won't go. Princess Koo was a shorten yesterday after running well in New Zealand. Herbie Kamani, Tipum Woody maybe. Duro Valley looks value for mine at $34. Steve, now...
As you went through them, Eskimo Queen, Devil Moon, Duro Valley.
Cox Plate, won't be too random here, I wouldn't think. Miss Finland, the right favourite for mine, 320. El Segundo, 460. Marasco, well, question marks, 550. Turnbull Stakes Day. You know what he's done wrong, $6.
But El Segundo, I'd probably still lean a little bit his way. I like the
Melbourne Cup. I think she'll win the Melbourne Cup. Here's the market from Scander's Betstar. Efficient, $6. Gee, that's short enough, isn't it? Maybe better at 9 with Miss Finland, who tightened yesterday. Zipping 11. Master O'Reilly, she'll win the Melbourne Cup. Here's the market from Scander's Betstar. Efficient, $6. Gee, that's short enough, isn't it? Maybe better at 9 with Miss Finland, who tightened yesterday. Zipping 11.